Man, I gotta say, this is just a hodgepodge of thumbnails. Just shoved a couple things together just so we could have something here while we were kind of getting ready, guys. I wasn't expecting to do an actual GamesCast, but I figured we're all here, and I don't know how to start a show without the actual show starter. Should we just start?
It's all right, man. I wasn't expecting it either. I mean, I didn't even know we were starting. I thought we were just having a Discord call, but all right.
We should start how we always do. Let's just go ahead and throw in an ad break real quick.
Dude, I'm sure
maybe we should.
It feels time for an ad break right now.
Do you like popcorn,
bro?
This
must have been
episode is brought to you by MeUndies.
This episode is brought to you by Owando.
I love it. I'd much rather be sponsored by Owando Kurnando than MeUndies. Thank you very much. Jesus Christ! All right, guys, let's get this show started. Not the right button. Is anybody surprised that I hit the wrong button to get this thing started? Nope, that's also not the right button. And nope. And there we are. This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live No, that's not accurate. Guys, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out and chilling with us while the award show is going on, chilling with us post-award show. We've obviously been on a little bit of a break here. That's all my fault. But it's the holiday season and shit's crazy for everybody. I was actually sick for the last week. I didn't want to. I'm sick so frequently that I'm tired of telling you guys that I'm sick. Mostly because some people out there are like, it's the COVID, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, I'm sorry. So the last week was kind of crazy. Thank you everybody for being here. AJ, Wes, Myles, and also of course, thank you for what you did for the award show. Wonderful presentations. Starting of course with, I was going to start with Myles, but he doesn't seem to have the earbuds in.
No, I'm just untangling it. You keep going. I can hear you. I got it in this ear. It's all right.
Right on. Well, yeah.
You say nice things.
You started the show, man. You started the show. We're all about just making sure that we covered a bunch of different categories. There was more categories than ever this year. There were 25 categories, and you guys over on our Discord and really everywhere else, we made sure the links were available for everybody. I mean, you guys came out in droves to vote, and I'm so happy that this really wasn't about us as it always is. It was about you guys out there and what your thoughts were, and I think there was some really great voting going on, even if we're about to tell you how wrong you were on some of it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all about shifting responsibility, isn't it? We didn't want to be held accountable for the winners, so we can take the credit for doing these amazing awards. And if anyone's unhappy, we can also say, "Weren't us."
Wasn't us.
Hell yeah, it wasn't us.
Me, bro. Wasn't me.
Nice. Guys, but obviously it's been a little bit since we've done one of these. What's everyone been up to? Let's just go right down the line. AJ, what have you been up to in the 2 weeks since we've done GamesCast together?
Well, Brian, even though it's the end of the year, we just so happened that we got a massive AAA hybrid title to cap off the year. What a beautiful way. We start the launch with AAA hybrid games, and then we end the year with some AAA hybrid with a AAA hybrid game. So
you're not talking about RE4, are you? That game's indie as fuck.
I am definitely talking about RE4. I've been playing the hell out of that. Yeah. I've revisited Gran Turismo 7, which is just still... Dude, that game still 10 months later is blowing my mind. I got to check out a game that we'll be talking about a little bit tonight. I've been playing some Walkabout mini golf.
Nice.
Yeah, man, that Meow Wolf DLC was awesome, and I've been playing that. And then other than that, I finished up Ven VR Adventure and Tiger Blade. It's been exhausting, to be honest with you. I don't want to hear that PSVR2 has no games, because I'm freaking exhausted from trying to keep up and play and beat all of the games. And but luckily, most of them have been really good, if not amazing.
What did you think about Ven? I've been away for a while from the bubble here in VR land, and Ven launched while I was away. Was everyone thinking about that? Is it as good as I remember it being?
It's good. It's solid. Like it's just a good solid platformer. It looks pretty nice, actually. It's got that native resolution, really sharp, crisp visuals. And then it's of course heavily, it borrows a lot from like Crash Bandicoot and stuff, which is near and dear to my heart. But to be honest with you, like I love we most of us, maybe except for Myles, love horror games. But even like I needed like a break. I was like, God, it was really good timing, because I was just like, I really don't want to be scared again right now. Like I've been scared so much lately, and I just need something like charming and happy to play through. And so it was a huge relief, if anything.
I obviously have been away, dude. So confession time. Part of me being sick, my stomach was all over the place, and I have not been able to play VR since last Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, last Wednesday. I probably can now. I think I'm all better, but man, like just and everything made me sick. And so I have only played the part of Ven that I had played when we talked about it on GamesCast. So I am only 2 levels in. I finished the first 2. And at that point I was like, man, where are the bosses at? But it turns out there are some bosses, right? Are they decent?
They are. And the as I recall, the boss gameplay is very different than the kind of minute to minute in this. And that's where it's one of those few areas that kind of sets this game apart from a typical VR platformer, because it takes a little bit more advantage of the first person aspect of your in-game being. So it's interesting. I've heard both sides. Some people like that aspect of it. Other people not so much. So I'll be interested to hear what you think about it when you have a chance to check it out.
Nice. I'm trying to think what else has happened. I mean, so much stuff. I mean, I know that Tiger Blade was a big thing that happened. Are there mixed opinions on Tiger Blade? Because it looked. I feel like the words that keep coming out about that is Time Crisis. Is everyone enjoying that?
I mean, I had an absolute blast with it. I mean, for me, it is a Time Crisis game with melee combat. My expectation going into it, from what I saw on the trailer, was that this was going to be a game where you are chained to the music. The music is playing and you have to play as the music dictates. And what I was very happy to find out was the music actually complements what you're doing. I'm sure it gives you cues on how you should be fighting, but in the combat, you are just going with the rhythm of what the enemies are doing. When they, come at you with slices with their swords, you've got to parry them, and the parrying feels great. And then when they're shooting bullets, it does have those Time Crisis bullets where a lot of them are going all over the place, but those really big, thick red bullets that are flashing coming towards you, those are the ones that are going to hit you, and you have to parry them with your sword, which feels amazing. There have been some concerns about the resolution. There's a lot of moments where the resolution, I feel, could be better, and the textures are quite low quality. But at the end of the day, overall, I had an absolute blast with the game, and I did complete it in 90 minutes. But for each level, you get 3 stars. One is for completing it in a certain time. One is for finding all the collectibles. And I think one of them is for completing it without dying. I can't remember how many levels there were, but out of all of them, I only got 1 star. So I have a reason to go back, and I'm really looking forward to doing that at some point. So yeah, no, I absolutely rate it. But yeah, I think from looking at the trailers, you'll have a sense of if it's the game for you.
The shooting and the sword play are really fun. Definitely.
Excellent. And then one more game before we get on to the award show stuff, and that is obviously probably one of the bigger games that's come out over the last month, and that's Breachers. This is, obviously something we were greatly anticipating. So far, I've gotten through the tutorial, so definitely not the guy to talk to about this one. How much time has everybody spent with it? Do we have any experts here on the Parole Board at the moment?
I've played it for a couple hours, but yeah, Wes, go ahead.
No, I was basically going to say I've been since we last convened here. The majority of my time has been spent in the hospital with my dad. So outside of a few sessions with my my Quest, I haven't really been able to play any VR at all. You've probably played more than I have, Brian. But I will say this: I played. Oh, thank you. It was a tough time, but. We're getting through it, and things are looking up.
Not to sound insensitive, Wes, but my sorry to hear that was that I played more VR than you did. And
okay. I thought you were talking about my dad.
Right. Just so no one thinks I'm completely insensitive. Wes and I have been talking a lot behind the scenes, and obviously, man, like I didn't know how much you'd said about it publicly, and so. Obviously this is a tough time of year for everybody, and then it's just compounded for you. And the fact that you're even keeping it all together the way you are, man, I'm fucking real proud of you, dude.
Yeah, man. Best wishes to you, your dad, and your family.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you everyone who's sent out their thoughts and prayers. It's been very much appreciated. It's been a tough time, but like I said, we're getting through it. Things are looking up, and not for nothing, but as much shade as we like to throw at Quest, it was pretty much a lifesaver, a good way for me to be distracted when I was in the hospital last week. As far as like stuff that might be relevant to this conversation, like you, AJ, I was able to get in and play some of that Walkabout with the Meow Wolf course, which was amazing. But with regard to Breachers, I haven't had a chance to play the PSVR2 version of it yet, but I do have quite a bit of experience in Breachers, and I like it, man. It's a good game. It's one of the surprise games of the year in terms of the larger VR ecosystem. One of the favorites in our community, and it puts its own spin, so to speak, on this genre that the original Firewall kind of brought to prominence. It's very similar to Firewall, but in a lot of ways it's very different. And I'm sure you guys, in the whatever limited amount of time you've been able to put into it, can see why it's so popular, right? The matches are so much quicker. There's no waiting around to get in there, and there's really some cool gadgets and stuff for you to play around with in there as well. It's a solid game. And I look forward to getting in and seeing how it turned out on PlayStation.
Yeah, just a little more VRAF. I mean, it's not like super crazy VRAF, right? But it's just the right amount of VRAF, I think, so you're able to do things without thinking too hard about them. And
it's pretty VRAF, especially some of those gadgets and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the breaching foam. Yeah, you spray the foam and then
lobbing the drone in the air,
and then you hit the button on the thing. It's not like you press a button to detonate it. You actually smash a big red button and the foam
and then
detonates.
You blow yourself up. Yeah, that's always fun.
And then you blow yourself up. At least if you're me. And then like Myles was saying, the drone you control and everything, and it's a pretty good game, and it supports crossplay, so it's been really cool. Pretty good community supporting it right now, and a lot of fun to get in there with people on different platforms as well. It's kind of a joint effort to keep the player base pretty active on there.
Well, yeah, I had an absolute blast with it. I've probably done about 4 or 5 hours in it. The one thing I'm yearning for with the game is to have a team. Like I'm always joining with randoms at the moment, and I think it's going to be one of those games, because it's obviously a strategic shooter, of when you're with a team of 4 people where you have your play styles, what gadgets everyone likes to use, and your strategies. I think that's when it's really going to excel, because at the moment it's just 4 randoms versus 4 randoms, and you have one player that's been an absolute pro who just goes and cleans up every time. And it is a brutal game. Like, if you're not getting headshots, you're not going to be taking people down. And if you get headshotted once, you're going down instantly. And the environments are great. I like the shooting range that you can do in the lobby, which is great. But visually, I hope that they can just boost it up a little bit. I just feel that I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know if it's the resolution and stuff. I just feel like it doesn't look terrible, but I just feel like for PSVR2, I think it could be a lot better, because especially when I was in the opening tutorial on my Let's Play, a lot of people were saying like, how does it look? And I was like, well, the resolution's good. I think it's the textures. I think that's what it is. Yeah. There's this kind of conflicting feeling with the visuals where it doesn't actually look bad resolution-wise.
The geometry is a bit basic too. Yeah.
Right. It was the same way on PC. And we see this with quite a few games. You can tell this game was developed around the standalone, right? You can tell that this initially was a Quest game. And while they do, a little bit with the higher resolution textures and things to make it look a bit sharper for PC, and I would assume PlayStation as well. It's like AJ said, it's the geometry, right? Everything has that sort of blockiness to it that is kind of a trademark look for Quest games. It doesn't look bad. I think some of the lighting actually can look quite good in the game. But you're right. You can still tell that at its foundation, it is a Quest board.
And also, we should just say the obvious: the going up to windows and then kicking through them and swinging in is amazing.
The repelling,
it's so good.
The whole it's called Breachers for a reason.
Yeah,
because like that is very much the concept of it, and that whole like SWAT team trying to make your way in. Using like a good strategy and stuff, and if you get the right teammates and everything, it's very tactical, and it is awesome. And
the key point there, if you get the right teammates, because when you have the wrong teammates or you're playing with an AI, just a funny moment I've got to talk about. We were getting ready to breach, and I'm at the window, and what you do is I think you press R3, and it does this animation where you kick away and you slowly go in feet first, and then you go. And so we were like, right, wait for the countdown, and because you have like I don't know, it's like a minute at the beginning to buy the equipment that you want, and you can't breach until that time has gone to 0. And so it goes 0. I click R3, my character starts swinging back slow-mo, and the AI just punches the window, so it's open. The AI doesn't go in, and there's 3 guys there with guns, and I'm in slow-mo swinging back and then in, which was like, here's a free shot, and it was like the most humiliating thing ever. And obviously the AI didn't feel bad, but that was it.
Well, hopefully, hopefully the community support, the developer support, all the stuff. Hopefully, this is a game that that rallies throughout the course of 2024, and it's something that we're going to be playing all year long. It's a little bit interesting that this game came out, and then it was like 2 days later that First Contact Entertainment said that they were shutting their doors, which is obviously a very sad thing. A lot of people said that
it was the same day, actually.
Was it the same day?
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people in the comments saying Breachers just killed Firewall. Like, they knew they couldn't compete. And I'm like, I don't think that's it at all.
There's no relation.
I don't think there's any correlation whatsoever. But man, listen, I mean, first of all, I think we can all agree that Ultra did not turn out the way we wanted it to. Ultra didn't turn out the way First Contact wanted it to. And they were in a situation where which I think is a very layered situation, which we won't really understand completely until the story is told, and I don't know if or when that's going to happen. So everybody can say what they want about Ultra, but it's always sad when a bunch of people lose their jobs and when a VR studio closes down, any studio closes down, and so the thing on my mind for the last couple of weeks or the last week or whatever it's been, was that, man, I hope everyone at FCE lands on their feet. And then to get the news from Strange Game Studios today that they're picking up people and some of the team is going over there and working on their upcoming projects. They've been hired on as Strange Games. And I was talking to Reggie at Strange Games last night about this, and these guys from First Contact, they are going to have their hands on D-Day before that game comes out. And so,
amazing.
Here's a team of, what was it, 2 people. It was Boss and Reg doing Honor and Duty D-Day Enhanced Edition. And suddenly there's 4 more people on the hands on deck that are going in and like really giving it this incredible massive layer of polish, just within a month before it comes out. So with every sad story, I'm glad that people land on their feet and there's a positive side to all of this.
That is awesome news. Good job, Reg.
Yeah.
And by the way, congrats and kudos to Reggie on expansion. It takes courage to invest in yourself like that. And I'm sure it will reap dividends in the long run. So big kudos and congratulations to Reggie for pulling the trigger on a move like that.
Honor and Duty has a lot of potential, so it's nice to get some extra work on there. But I got a little Christmas gift for you guys. I can't tell you what it is yet.
You're such a tease.
I will say,
and also, you missed Christmas.
I will say
Christmas 2024, Myles. This dude prepares.
So I've been playing Redacted. I actually beat Redacted today, and let's just say there's some exciting things that are right around the corner as well.
I see.
I don't know because I've played a lot of Redacted this year, and every time I play Redacted, it's a different game. So
that's all you get.
Albert in the chat says AJ is AJing the fuck out of this. For sure. I see. The funny thing is, I have no idea what you're talking about. I can only assume you're talking about Vertigo, so we're just going to pretend. I don't. Yeah, you can shrug away. But
we'll never know.
Yep. And so the great thing about Vertigo is that obviously there were a lot of the word out there was they had found a game breaking bug at the last minute and they were fixing this and I just want to say that we've had this game for weeks. The obviously original release date was a month ago. So I just want to say tons of props to Perp Games sponsored today's video and a lot of those animations and shit couldn't have been done without their help. So shout out to Perp Games for that, but also, man, they're doing their due diligence, right? Like the last I heard about Vertigo was that they didn't just fix a couple game breaking bugs. They fixed everything that was wrong with it. They made sure this game is a polished ass game before it comes out to PSVR2. So I'm just waiting for the next patch to drop, dive in, and then keep you guys posted. Very exciting.
Yeah. It should be something pretty special.
Yes.
All right, let's tackle a bunch of tips here real quick. We got Looper, the Underground Gamecat, with a €2 says that was infinite times better than the Game Awards crap. Oh, the Game Awards crap. I mean,
whoa.
I'll just say okay.
Game Awards was okay.
Yeah,
needed more VR, but it was okay.
I definitely took a page out of the award show's book though, and it did some rapid fire awards. Man, oh man, we would have been here all day otherwise. Looper also gives a level 3 membership, says Village got so screwed by Resident Evil 4's release. That is 100% true. Did Village win fucking anything?
No.
I don't think so. But it did win like everywhere else, so it's not like it's not getting any praise it's not like it's being overlooked.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, in the upcoming 2023 show, which at this rate will probably take place in 2025, we cut the nomination period off at the end of November, so there is no recency bias or anything like that going on. Although it was difficult to do because what a great game, huh?
Yeah. I don't think. Even without recency bias, it's still a contender, like a strong contender. So it's a tough one.
Yeah, RE4 was just a great action game from beginning to end. I think Village had a better adventure, but RE4 had more upgrades and weapons and I don't know.
Replay value and
way more replay value, especially since it's got trophies. Exactly. Yeah, very excited about that. So take that, Village. Sean Turner with the $10 tip says, great award show. Thank you, Sean. I didn't get a chance to tip because I was driving. Thank you for not tipping while driving, Sean.
Yes.
So I'm doing it now, but hats off. That was an unexpected, awesome award show. Well done. Thank you very much. And again, thank you to all the developers who trusted me to treat their IP with care and make sure that it had a nice spot for a reveal, and that you could hear all of it.
Can I just say, Brian, just like to echo what everyone's been saying in the chat, massive props to you for doing this, man, because it's one thing to put together something like that, which is, an hour of solid content with good pacing and everything. But the organization, even when you've got people like us who are, we're going to be providing you with the, the recordings that you need and stuff like that. When it comes to organizing the voting period, the cutoffs, then letting the winners know, then trying to get them to do acceptance speeches, then people can send it in all kind of formats. It's a production mind F, to put it lightly, and you don't need me telling you that. It's amazing what you've managed to do at such short notice, and so I just want to say a massive congrats, and hopefully you're gonna sleep well tonight.
Oh, I'm gonna sleep so well tonight. The question is, what are we gonna do tomorrow, right? Because I didn't want to do anything tomorrow because I didn't want to step on Wes's toes. But with the end of year show moving out of tomorrow into sometime in 2024, I'm guessing. Yeah, I gotta figure out if we're doing anything tomorrow. So stay tuned. As you guys know, everything on Without Parole happens last minute. We don't actually plan very much, and so the fact that there is an award show that was actually planned to some degree, that was crazy. But thank you, Myles. Appreciate the kind words. Virtual Resistance with a $5 tip says, just sends a number 1 emoji. Thank you very much, Virtual Resistance.
Number one.
Also created, if you're on our Discord, he created a great little meme. It's very cool. Not Sure Brondo with the $20 tip says, best award show ever. Here's to another incredible year for PSVR2. I have to say, compared to years past, there weren't nearly as many reveals as I wanted. I wanted to reveal like big games. And honestly, there were 2 that I had, and they didn't come together last minute. That last thing you saw, the Undead Citadel stuff, that was just supposed to be earlier and had to get moved. There was supposed to be a pretty big one at the end, and
what was it?
Oh, I'm just going to keep quiet about that because because both studios I've talked to have said that they'll hook me up in the future, and so hopefully we'll be revealing even more stuff on the channel soon, and at least one of them is very exciting.
Vertigo 2.
God damn it! Everything's Vertigo 2. That's
Krispain Hero VR2.
Bro. Yep.
Lauren, I just want to do a public service announcement. If anyone is thinking of buying Krispain Hero VR, ironically, or thinks there might be some fun in there, don't support that shit.
How much did it cost?
Yeah,
it was $7.99 UK, so I'm guessing around $10.
Okay. So it's about
always
$10
going,
too
assuming
much.
good intent. There's a lot of things, but not being able to pick up ammo is usually a big gaming mechanic that you want in a game.
No music.
Because I found my dungeon run would always end when I had no ammo. And the only haptics is when you're pressing the reload button. Your controller vibrates, and that's the only thing you can really see. There's no other haptics.
No progression either, right? You said.
No progression. It says it's a roguelite. You just redo the same thing each time. And it says there's bosses. I mean, I don't know. And then on the main menu, the first thing you see is Higgest score. Your Higgest
Oh, wonderful.
So I was wondering if Ian Higton is behind it, and that is just how he does his ratings. So I need to find out about that. But It was. I was trying to be amused by it, but eventually you do get to a point where you're like, there are going to be people that have just got a PSVR2 for Christmas, will see this new game, think, oh, it's $7.99, I'll give that a go, and there's no, we know what the refund policy is. I tweeted about it, and I made a joke at the end saying, can I get a refund for this? We know you can't get a refund for it, and they've got more games coming, so beware.
Did you pay for that yourself, or did the developers actually send you?
No, I paid for it. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
But the thing I would say though is, and I know that I always get criticised for saying this sort of stuff when it comes to games that don't deliver at launch. If they were to come out and say, "Hey, these things are wrong, we're going to fix it," I will give it a second go and see what it is. But that doesn't make it right what they've done. And I also, if I was to hedge my bets, I don't think they're going to do it. I think that's a drop and leave it thing. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, they're not going to fix it. I did catch a bit of your stream, and immediately within 2 or 3 minutes, I flashed back to the episode Brian and I did about shovelware, defining it and giving examples of what it might be. And man, this certainly checks a lot of those boxes off.
Really puts break stuff into a much higher category, I think, right away. Actually felt good throwing stuff. Anyway, Lauren Thole, thank you so much for joining Level 1 membership. Awesome. Looper, the Underground Gamecat with the €5, says, AJ needs a Spookies jump scare mansion remaster to get jump scared by an ice cream again. Bro.
An ice cream?
Dude. Have you played Spookies, Myles?
I never did.
Oh man, well let's hope it comes to PSVR2 because I loved that game. So much fun. You get scared by cardboard cutouts, like you're walking, like they actually. And
definitely the only time I've ever been jump scared by ice cream or like a piece of toast.
Ice cream, you scream. Oh.
Ooh.
Fifth with the Australian $5 says, thanks Myles for all the Let's Plays. Because of you, I saved money and found some great games. Guys, I want to say thank you to all you guys. Well, not so much, Wes. You've been slacking as much as I have. But for real, like the links to all these guys' channels are in the description below. Make sure you go subscribe to AJ, Wes, and Myles. Like really, I mean, Myles, for real. Like your dedication to streaming every single PSVR2 game that's come out, and you're kind of staying on top of it too, right? Like, are you caught up right now?
Yeah, I've done 158 games.
It's insane. And as you guys out there know, I've really become averse to streaming games. Like it can be way more stressful than you think it's going to be. Like it looks like it's we're just playing a game, it's fun. But man, like, you know, it's trying to listen to all the comments and talk to everybody and figure out the game. And sometimes the game's crap. Like it can just be really not enjoyable. And Myles, every time I tune in to watch you play something, you make it look so easy. And so thank you so much for doing that. And obviously, you know, I don't want to ignore AJ and Wes here, but like all of these guys are doing great work. Even if AJ has decided to stream his reviews.
I like the discussion, the stream reviews and stuff, but I also think it comes down to, and by the way, thanks for that, and Gamecats. Like February was when I started deciding to be a gaming content creator on my channel. I've always said I owe a lot of debt of gratitude for Brian for taking a chance on me back in April of last year. And then it was kind of like the double whammy of going to Fast Travel Games in January and then meeting all these content creators that I knew online. And then it's this whole thing of like, but what am I doing for my channel? Well, I don't really do gaming and I've never really wanted to. And I was looking at like, what can I do that complements what everyone else does? Because what I love is that, you know, Brian, Wes, AJ, we all have our own offerings when it comes to VR, the way that we talk about it, the way we go about it. And for me, just live streaming also appeals to my non-VR followers because they just get to see me in a virtual world that is just a lot more immersive and interesting to watch than a flat screen game. And I just thought, yeah, I set the challenge. It was ridiculous, but I literally have had no weekends on that for 10 months. And it's just been a big slog, but totally worth it. And I love this community, and these guys have been so supportive and everything. And it's nice to be on top of it, as you said. But it was just a shame to end the year on Krispain. One of the last games I did play was Affected, and the last Gamescast live we did, I was asking about what the game was because I didn't know of it on PSVR, and Brian said, "Oh, it's like a really cool haunted house," and I was thinking like, seventh guest, like haunted. Oh, just nice little haunted house. Genuinely, and as soon as I started doing it, everyone in the live chat go, "Oh, this is like one of the scariest things on PSVR," and it's the most scared I think I've been since Resident Evil Village. But it's amazing. It's amazing. It was a really, really good time.
Yeah, really, really good haunted house.
Yes. No, I actually, yeah, I would say, and you guys might suggest something else. For me, it's the best haunted house I've ever experienced in real life or virtual. Like, it's just...
it's tough because I think Rush of Blood added the sense of like urgency because you like had to defend yourself in the haunted house, you know, and you didn't have control over your movement. And so I always think that. See,
I think control of your movement is what makes it better because you have to keep pushing forward.
Oh,
like the roller coaster is like...
So many times in Rush of Blood, you know, I'm like moving along, like my heart's racing and like moving along, and then we just slow down into a room, and I'm like, the second that coaster stops, you're like, oh, this isn't going to be good. You just know it's not going to be good. You have no control. They're about to do something to you. You have no control over getting out of that room. And so I think that's why I like it so much. But yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from.
I don't even think I knew that released. I can't even keep up anymore, man.
You should watch Myles' channel.
Even out. Yeah.
There's been lots of random.
I've got notifications on.
Stacked, man. December was the October that we were hoping for, like in a weird way. Yeah.
Yep.
Mostly,
yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about too. Not only the things that ended up coming out between October and December, but when you think about the things that didn't come out, and that are still coming soon, like the best is still yet to come, and that's crazy to think about.
I can't wait for Journey to Foundation to come out. That's going to be cool.
We are hitting 2024. We are hitting the ground running, man. Like we've got some pretty high profile games, like just a couple weeks from now. So we're only going to get a little bit of time to rest up after this, and then it's back to the grind. But yeah, I mean, and on top of the releases that came out, there was also several updates from October to December as well.
Let me keep these moving here because the tips keep rolling in. Let's get us caught up so we can talk about the award show. Virtual Resistance with the $5 tip said, meant to say something with my super chat. Great work on the show. This community is amazing and very positive. Appreciate Wes, Myles, and AJ too. HNY. Happy New Year to you too. Twitcher, the Deuce Juice Gamecat with the $5 says, and the award for best fucking award announcement goes to Ian motherfucking Higton. Dude, let me say something about that. I don't want to take any credit away from Ian because he killed it. But I wrote the scripts for everybody during the show and sent them out. And man, when I was sending it to Ian, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna really get what I'm going for here. I was like, we're going to bleep you out constantly and whatever. And I was like, but we really want to like lean into the whole VRAF thing and like make people understand VR as fuck. And like, dude, like when he sent that video back, he could not have understood what I was going for more. Like that, it was 10 times better than I could have expected. So yeah, massive shout out to Ian Higton. He's
super professional.
This is the third award show that we've had where he's got like one of the best presentations. Like the dude just cares a lot, and I love that.
He's a legend. He
really is. Planet Schlorpian with the $5 says Arizona Sunshine 2 is what I'm playing until unemployment comes through. Hopefully you've got a friend.
Arizona Sunshine was good.
That game is better with a friend. Yeah, it was good, dude. But kind of not to get way off topic here or get on topic unintentionally. But Arizona Sunshine 2 got nominated for like one award. It was crazy. This is what a great year we had. When people are like, there's no good games, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm sorry. Arizona Sunshine 2 was a lot of fun, and it got nominated once. Vampire the Masquerade Justice got nominated 0 times. Hubris got nominated, once? I mean, these are games I really enjoyed. And they're just pretty good games in a sea of awesome games. Like that's sort of what 2023 became for PSVR2, I think.
Yeah, that was one of the things that kind of shocked me actually, as I was looking through these, and I'm like, where's Hubris at? Like, I mean, during its time when that came out, people were like loving that game, and then here we are in December, and it's just fallen off the map because of everything that's happened between now and then. It's just an incredible year.
Yep. There was no best open world category, was there? Because I was looking for down and out, and I was really disappointed. But then the category wasn't there, so obviously they weren't going to win.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, man. There's so many good games that really we just I wanted to almost like rig it in a way where like so many games could get like a nomination, because like a Demio, like wanted more Moss and Demio and Vampire Masquerade and more Crossfire, and so many games deserving of more spotlight here, but still, just like you said, it's just a reflection of what a really strong launch year for games.
Yeah, I saw Twitcher in the chat.
Did we even know?
Sorry, go ahead, Wes.
Did we even talk about Runner at all? I don't remember seeing Runner
Good
anywhere.
nominated one
nomination.
time.
Yeah,
I saw some. Yeah,
Bested in Gem.
hidden
Bested
gem, and
gem,
I saw a lot of the chat disappointed Runner didn't win that.
A lot of the
But
chat should have voted.
Yeah.
Dude, but yeah, I mean, listen, I had a great time with Runner, but I had a great time with Barbaria. I ended up playing that more after launch than expected. And honestly, keeping up with Myles, and every single day, you did you play that every gay? Every gay?
Yeah, I did every game. I was happy every day.
You did every game?
I've stopped playing. I platinumed it 2 days ago, and these are the first 2 days I haven't played it because the last trophy was to get 100 dailies done.
Wow.
But yeah, but they are still adding content. There's a whole new mode. There was something I said to the devs in like a conversation randomly, which was, for your dailies, you should have your 2 daily missions and then one that's like a harder difficulty one for people that really want to grind for it. And it popped up a few days ago. Like for such a small team, they really do listen to the feedback. They're really active on not only their own Discord, but in the PSVR without Parole Discord in the Barbaria section. And what I liked actually was on Christmas Day, one of the dailies was it's Christmas, don't worry about it, and then you claim it. And I love that. I love that they've thought about, like, it's not just a lot of these games, it's not a criticism where dailies it's just an automated thing that just randomizes. There's this real personality with the game where at the moment they're all wearing Christmas hats, and just for such a small team, I'm like, you're doing all these things that are amazing, but like, don't you have like more important roadmap stuff to be working on? But they seem to be doing it all, and it was really great to see them also accepting the award and seeing a face to their names and stuff. So yeah, but again, like a lot of these categories, they were all the nominees were deserving of the award. But yeah.
All right, guys. You know what? There's a lot of tips here, and we can save them. We can save them for a little bit here because I'm a little bit worried that we're an hour into the show and we haven't started talking about the award show that much. Do you guys want to go through this chronologically? We don't.
Yes.
We certainly don't have to spend a lot of time on each one of these things, but it kicked off with some C Smash. And it's
and C Smash has so many game modes now. Like, I've not been on it for a while. I need to jump back in because I was just watching PlayStation Access doing it on their Crystal Maze show, and there were modes in there that I hadn't seen. And when you win the point on some of them, it shows you a replay. Like, there's just loads of really cool features in there. And like, the main criticism when C Smash came out was it didn't have all the content it promised.
Yeah.
But like, the resolution is amazing. The frame rate is incredible. It's an insanely well-polished game. And the main criticism was content, and they've just added so much to it. So I definitely need to get back into it and experience it all because it feels good to play. And there's a lot of stuff I'm yet to experience. So it was cool to see him on that.
Yeah. I didn't love the presentation of their announcement. Like, it looked good because it looked like their trailers, but at the same time, like, everything that they were showing off was like, you just have to kind of stare at the screen and go, what are they showing? Oh, there's leaderboards here, there. So but just to summarize, it just feels like a much more fleshed out game now, for sure.
Yeah. This was a cool way to kick things off. There wasn't any voiceover, so like you said, you had to really pay attention to see what they were showing. But all I really caught was leaderboards, and then maybe some new modes are coming, emotes. It's got some new things, so cool. This is a game I really need to play more of. I've told myself several times, like, I need to play more of this, and I just got to keep reminding myself until I actually do, because I hear a lot of buzz around it. People seem to be enjoying it a ton, and just one that just slipped by me, one of the very, very few.
And that brought us to Myles. You did the Hidden Gem Award. Obviously, a lot of great games got nominated there. But Barbaria took it. I loved the acceptance speech from Stalwart.
Yeah,
so funny. He's like, we tried really, really hard to make it a hidden gem. I mean, we did no marketing. No marketing. No, very clever.
And a well-deserved win there. Like I said, some good contenders with like Runner, shout out to Runner as well, because we all know I freaking love that game. But yeah, Barbaria, all I got to add to that is it not only is it so well designed, it's extremely polished. It's really just a really good game loop, a really solid game loop in the way that you it's both like an action, it almost feels like an action RPG, but like more like an action dungeon crawler. But the thing that got me with that game is the sense of humor that game has. That might be the funniest game, if not one of the funniest games I've played on all of VR. And that's something that I think like kind of goes under the radar about it, but that game really had me laughing quite a lot.
Yeah. And the combat feels amazing. I don't know if you got to the bit, AJ, where you get the God of War ability with the axe. Have you done that yet?
No.
Oh, dude. You get one of the heroes, you can literally, whatever item you throw, your power is you bring it back and you catch it. And if the enemy's in the way, it pulls it through them. Jesus Christ, man. It's like one of the many things we fantasize about, which is God of War in VR. And it's like, here you are just throwing stuff. An axe gets wedged in their head and then you can just like pull it out with your powers. There's so many great moments like that. And you were talking about roguelite stuff. Like some of the ideas I was spitballing with the devs was it'd be cool if there was like a single player campaign mode, like a roguelite mode where you see how far you can get. And they're like, yeah, they basically want to create a platform where anything is possible. And I think that is what makes Barbaria really exciting, which is they literally could do anything and it would work because it is funny. It has good action. And
it's funny because Chrome Colossus in the chat here reading my mind says, did the Light Brigade do well? And I think when it comes to a category like this, like the hidden gem, I think that Light Brigade is kind of a victim of its own success this year, because when Light Brigade came out, it very much was a hidden gem. Nobody was really expecting it to be quite as good as it was, but then it blew up really quickly. So now Light Brigade finds itself in this weird middle ground where obviously it's not going to compete in like the Game of the Year categories because you have all these awesome Sony funded AAAs, but then it's a little bit too well known now to kind of be the hidden gem. So I don't think Light Brigade won anything, but certainly
it was in the roguelike category, wasn't it? Like nominated, and it didn't win it, but was that that's what it was? Yeah, because hidden gems were for anything that didn't get nominated for anything else. So, and it got beaten by Synapse, which that's the thing is like if there was one award the Light Brigade was going to be for, it was going to be for best roguelite, and it if it didn't win that, it's tough, man. It's tough because it's a beautiful game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, listen. There's no way this thing was going to be perfect, and like I'm not out here being like we created perfect categories for you guys, and if the right game didn't win, it's all on you. We like to say that because it's funny, but
we didn't pick, right? We didn't pick.
Well, we didn't, but we also there was it was like 24 hours straight of trying to create all these categories. And, like we went through it once, all night, one night on Discord, taking everybody's advice that was in voice chat with us. And then we posted all of the categories and all the things that needed to be changed. And then we went through the entire thing again the next night. And like, again, it took everyone's feedback. And it was just like, it's, obviously some things don't feel right, but you're like, well, we have to move forward with it or it's just never going to be right. So, I'm not saying that anything here was perfect, but man, if for whatever reason you haven't played the Light Brigade yet, you really should.
Yeah, wow, it was close between Barbaria and Runner.
So I'm going to try to keep the info here on the screen for everybody, so you can see all the details. There were only 343 votes in the hidden gem category, which is strange because there was like 700 in Game of the Year. So I guess people who didn't play all these decided to opt out. But yeah, it was 121 votes for Barbaria and 106 for Runner. So those were definitely the two front runners for sure.
Some love to Townsman too.
Yeah, I mean, dude, even Tentacular got 27 votes. So it's cool that people are really trying to push these smaller games that didn't get enough love throughout the year.
Yeah.
Did anybody care about Umami Grove that was shown off? Looks like a more VRAF Garden of the Sea, if you ask me.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it was funny because somebody said, what's that? What's the planting seeds game?
Garden of the Sea.
No, you mean like across the valley?
The PSVR one. Winds and Leaves. Somebody was like, Winds and Leaves too. And I was like, no, is it? It kind of looked like it. But, at first it looked kind of simple. But then they showed, when they started showing like full locomotion in this, I was like, oh, like, because first it shows them like cutting carrots. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm not really like, super into cooking stuff. But then they started showing like full locomotion, like a couple different environments
climbing
and stuff.
trees, picking fruit off the trees.
I was like, this could be, this could be okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I was just confused at the beginning. It was them cooking with like a spider telling them how to cook or something.
Well, people are sick. People are sick of floating robot drones telling you how to walk. And so they're like, well, how do you feel about a cute little spider telling you how to walk? Does that work for you?
There's a spider telling you how to cut a carrot. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Maybe I'll be better accustomed to spiders at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe spiders don't have a lot of expertise in this field. Maybe they're not the ones we should be listening to.
But you have the knife, so I guess you can you can resolve the situation.
Now you're down to 7 legs.
Whoa!
Hey, sorry, we don't advocate. But listen, I'm super excited for this game. I know it seems like maybe like one of these smaller games that maybe it's hard to be excited for, but not me. Like this, I was not in love with Garden of the Sea when I played it. It was very not VRAF, and this looks like what I wanted that game to be. So this works for me. The next
category.
Yeah, next category was presented by Jimmy Bowers, previously End Dreams. So good to see Jimmy, man. I was so happy when he agreed to do this.
Perfect category for him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It was like it was planned. It was so good.
Yeah, obviously he was presenting the most improved game since launch, which obviously went to No Man's Sky. I was a little bit sad because Sirens on my end. I obviously voted for Galaxy Kart.
Yes.
You did? Oh.
I mean,
you kept that to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I know I don't share my love of Galaxy Kart very much. I don't talk about it almost ever. But yeah.
Well, fact is, No Man's Sky was not only a great upgrade, I mean, there was a huge improvement from the PSVR 1 version. Maybe not at launch, but where we're at now, and it's even received another update. And yeah, I mean, this is, Galaxy Car is great and all, but this is it's going up against a Game of the Year contender that had a massive overhaul as well. So definitely had a little bit more support.
Yeah, it's difficult. We see this year after year. When we over on Virtual Strangers, when we give out the award for best ongoing support, which subsequently we have named the Hello Games Award because they're perennial nominees, and we try to allow other studios to win. So obviously they're a deserving winner this year. They put forth the best version of what is a legendary game at this point. Like there has not been a better version of No Man's Sky than is available on PSVR2 right now. So that's a pretty incredible feat. But I got to say, Brian, I do sympathize with Galaxy Kart because that game was not good when it launched. Right. It was not good at all.
Yep.
And now it's awesome. It's really good now.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks to see any of these smaller studios kind of have to live in the shadow of what Hello Games has become. But definitely a deserving winner, and if there ever were a deserving runner-up, it's Galaxy Kart.
Yeah,
it's some good competitors here. Galaxy Kart, like you said, that got a massive improvement since launch. Switchback VR deserves a good nod as well because, man, I mean, you're talking about going from one of the worst looking games to one of the best looking games on the platform. It looks phenomenal. It looks insanely good now. And then they added that extra horde mode. And then you've got Crossfire Sierra Squad, which was, for this category specifically, it's like it got some really good updates, it's like the amount of updates, the size of the updates while significant, it didn't have like major overhaul like kind of stuff, but it had some important ones for sure.
Right.
And then people keep bringing up Puzzling Places for the new game modes and stuff that they've added in. Not a game that I'm particularly into, but it's certainly getting a lot of support in our community as well.
And then the last one being Green Hell, of course. Green Hell got a nice little update as well.
That's true.
Yeah. So I mean, it was really tough, man. I mean, like you look at Crossfire with all the manual reloads. They just listened to everything the community wanted. Green Hell, obviously recognized there was a problem and fixed it. There's just it's really good, man. Because like I feel like there's like a lot of these sort of like sad VR stories that happen throughout the course of the year, but there's not too many that are still sad. I feel like a lot of them have been rectified and now are success stories. So that makes me real happy.
Yeah, despite a bunch of rocky launches, it's great that a lot of these games have recovered and ended the year really strong.
And it goes without saying as well, Galaxy Kart has succeeded in the sense that, the big prize for them is lots of people keep playing the game now because we keep saying this is such good fun. And I think we're still promised this demo that's coming out eventually, which means you'll be able to join regular races with just the demo. So if you're on the line, because one of the big concerns about Galaxy Kart, a friend of mine gave it a try and he gets motion sickness, although not as much since the latest patch. With these games, you might want to play it, but especially when you're going sky high, there's a lot of like ramps and stuff. Motion sickness is a real concern for some. So I'm looking forward to that demo because it will hopefully get a whole new wave of people involved.
I was really happy to see this next reveal from Bulwark Games. Obviously, anybody who was on PSVR1 might remember Bulwark Games from they were Dick Wild, right?
Is that yeah. I haven't heard that. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, I mean they kept going, on PC, and it always seemed like that they were about to make a PSVR announcement, and then either bailed on it or whatever. And then I saw Genotype, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And I saw it was Bulwark. I was like, oh man, let me reach out to my old friends there, and it was really, really nice to see that this game is going to be coming to PSVR2. And they said Q1, I believe, right? Q1 2024. So it's not even that far away. It's pretty exciting.
Right. And this was one of the surprises of the year for us in our community. It was very much a story like the Light Brigade of a game that just kind of dropped out of nowhere in a window where there was a lot of other notable releases and really came out looking great compared to everything else that come out. Genotype is an excellent game on Quest.
Nice.
And it's one of my favorites of the year for sure. I mean, it did so well that we gave it a Quest Game of the Year nomination. Like, it's that good.
Wow.
So I look forward to seeing this. It is coming, I guess, early next year. I knew that it was coming to Steam early next year, so it makes sense that it would be coming to PlayStation VR2 as well. And I look forward to seeing what the Gamecats think about this one, because this is one of my favorite games I've played this year.
Is February 23rd? Isn't that when Madison's coming out as well? Or is
20th, I think.
20th, okay. It's going to be a good week.
Yes.
The next award was given out by Dustin Furman, our friend over at Last Stand Media. We definitely need to get him on the show. He said he would come. Also, Twitcher had mentioned that Ian Higton also said he'd be on the show. So, yeah, 2024 is going to be a great year for Gamescast. I'm going to get all these guys on the show. Lots of guest hosts.
And if you haven't, make sure you go check out Last Stand Media, because they are killing it. And those guys are awesome, man. I listen to them for all of like my they're basically my main source of non-VR gaming news and discussions and stuff. Those guys are fantastic.
Yeah, I like them a lot. There's certainly been something missing, obviously, in the games journalism space since the infamous breakup of Colin and Greg, and I like being able to get both sides of these still, even if they're not together anymore. It's a lot of love for Last Stand Media. But Dustin gave out the award for best social multiplayer. There was No competition here. Even though Pavlov got a respectable 103 votes out of the 440 that voted, Walkabout Mini Golf took over half the votes, 56%, with 247 votes. I think it's a no-brainer, man. I think if you have a VR headset, whatever headset it might be, you start counting the hours you spend in Walkabout, and they just far exceed all of the other games you've played multiplayer this year.
It's also, I love with Walkabout, my first time experiencing it was just before it launched because we got review copies, and so playing multiplayer with others wasn't going to be possible. But then you do the quick play, and so I was playing with people on Quest.
Nice.
And going into quick play where you do half a course, everyone's just super nice. And it's one of those things of like, sometimes you play with people and you just quietly want to take your shots and just compete and say, hey, good game, that was it. And other times people are happy to give tips and stuff. And it's just a really zen, chilled community. But you can also have a laugh. You know, it's kind of like however you want to play the game, you can play it. And it's, it's just a great social space.
And that most recent DLC with the Meow Wolf stuff is just beautiful. Like, there's certainly been some DLC like Alfheim where I'm like, this is fine. I'm really glad there's a new course for me to play, new course to master, new course to find trick shots in. But there hasn't been like a course recently that's gotten me really, really excited. And I played Meow Wolf and I was like, this is fucking really cool. Like, just kind of
Have you played the hard mode yet?
Still no.
I still haven't either. Haven't any of you done it yet?
No. We almost did last time and we decided against it. But
I've played all 18 of the normal. Haven't gotten to the hard mode yet, but it's going to look phenomenal. And this is a game I play with Julia a lot, and man, it's so incredible. It has so much content. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This game is amazing as is, and just continues to get better and better. If they ever one day do like a kind of like a texture kind of overhaul on this game, it is a legitimate system seller. Like, it is a reason to go out and buy a PSVR2. And I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that this is something that could happen over time. It would be insanely, it would just be huge.
It's literally what I was saying to my wife when we were watching the award show, and he starts talking about, getting on to working on the next course, and they already have so many coming out, and I just yell at the TV, how about the next game? Let's work on the next game, because if they were to ever replicate what this game does well with a more photorealistic art style, it's going to be one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to really get immersed into these surreal environments.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great.
They really make the best of what they have right now, though. They really do. The Meow Wolf is a great example. Meow Wolf is pretty stunning.
Yeah, I think is. Forget about like a texture pack, anything. I spent more time playing this on my Quest 2 than any other game on my Quest 2 for the entire time I had that thing. It's just great. It's just good to get in there. It's the kind of game like you're like, I don't even care what it looks like outside of the Meow Wolf course, which is just magical. You're like, I don't even care what this looks like because I get to be in here with my friends. The physics are amazing. The course designs are great. And then of course at the end of the with the acceptance speech we got a little sneak preview of the Around the World in 80 Days Jules Verne course, which I will say 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is my second favorite course of all time, just after El Dorado.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited because hopefully this will match the quality of 20,000 Leagues. Very excited to see how they handle it.
Widow's Walkabout is my favorite.
Is it really?
I love that one. Yeah, it's like every horror movie in a golf course. It's amazing.
I think it felt campy to me. Like, it felt like this is a haunted house, but like a haunted house where people put up decorations, and like, ooh. It's cute.
So it's the only course that I've done everything. I've done the normal mode, the hard mode, found all the golf balls, hunt. Did the fox hunt. It's the only fox hunt I've completed. I can't wait to do more of those though. But it was such a fun horror movie adventure.
Any love for Stilt? That's coming March 8th. That is a reveal we got. He bouncing around on stilts.
Toss his cousin.
Dude, this was
what I said.
Dude, I gotta point out here. I think everybody's thinking the same thing. The music was like the music stood out immediately to me with this. I'm like, whoa, like this is like Super Mario vibes, like crazy. And I love platformers, and like I said, I love seeing more diverse library and genres and games to choose from. And this, with just the vibe of this game, has me sold. Like, it looks fun, but the vibe and the music, all of this, I'm definitely looking forward to playing this. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything with a cool locomotion system like this, I'm down for. Like anything that just makes me, my stomach drop every time we move. I am 100% down for. I've never played Gorilla Tag. I was told during the show this looked like Gorilla Tag's locomotion system. Can anyone confirm or deny that, Wes?
No, I can't say one way or another, but it does look that way, and I'm not a fan. Like, I've played a lot of these games. Most modern generation VR platformers have had some form of that locomotion, and the only one that I've remotely enjoyed has been Out of Hand. And look, for what it's worth, some people really love it, and I think it's great. I just wish more of these games would give people options for stick locomotion, because there's been amazing games like No More Rainbows that would be great if it weren't for the fact that I have to run with my hands. And it's more than just being uncomfortable doing that. But if you have the wrong, if you don't have great collision detection with the ground and everything in the world, it can really mess that locomotion style up. So I'm hopeful this one is more like Out of Hand and less like No More Rainbows. But I really hope that there's just options for people who like to play differently.
Following up Stilt, we had John Riggs presenting the best soundtrack, which went to Horizon Call of the Mountain. You guys feel free to slow me down here if necessary, but I want to make sure we kind of get through some of this. We got a few seconds, 15 seconds of the Twilight Zone work in progress for PSVR2. Very interesting. I thought they had forgotten about that, to be honest with you, because wasn't it like, I don't know, 6 months ago where they said coming very soon and then fucking nothing?
Okay, so real quick, as far as the music category goes, shout out to John Riggs, by the way. Awesome dude. And always a pleasure to have him as part of the show. But I will say the music lineup of choices, all these games had pretty damn good soundtracks. Yes. And music is something that's really, really important to me in games. So I know that like it was like Horizon and Moss and Red Matter. Dude, Red Matter had just some brilliant timing with its soundtrack. All really good stuff. Horizon had a great soundtrack as well.
Here, I got these up on the screen for you right now. Let me share these results.
Altair Breaker, man. I've been playing Altair Breaker recently, and the music, the soundtrack is so good, and it just, that game just makes me want there to be a Final Fantasy game in VR. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah. Altair Breaker has a great soundtrack, and I've been told, I don't know if this is true or not, I'm pretty sure it is, that it's the same guy that does the Super Smash Brothers soundtrack.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, and if you listen to it, you're like, oh, this does sound a lot like Super Smash Brothers.
So good.
So that explains why that soundtrack is that good.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. But unfortunately, Altair Breaker, of the 365 people who voted for this, 10 of them voted for Altair Breaker. Pretty respectable showings for Moss Book 1 with 48 votes, Red Matter 2 for 70 votes, No Man's Sky 91 votes, but clearly
also a great soundtrack.
55 votes in the lead, Horizon Call of the Mountain. So pretty universally praised here. Here, let me
sorry,
go ahead.
As far as the Twilight Zone it was cool to see that. I hope there's going to be smooth turning, though. I know it says it's a work in progress.
There will be smooth turning. There will be. This is interesting. This is one of the things that kind of came through, last minute. And the fact was, like, they didn't even have a chance to like edit anything together for me. They sent me like a 20-minute video, and were like, just take 15 seconds, and I was like, okay. And then I looked and I was like, oh no, not click turning, because that's the immediate thing everyone thinks is, oh no, not click turning. Whether you use click turning or not, no judgment here. I mean, you do what's right for you, but it does not look good in a trailer. Doesn't look good in gameplay. It doesn't look good in teaser. It makes my eyes kind of like dart back and forth
jarring
when I'm trying to watch it. Yeah.
So, something else that was jarring in the trailer, and I feel like I'm going to be stupid saying this, but
I can't wait.
Did Santa Claus appear in it?
Ho ho ho! Yeah, at the very end.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't imagine that, because then Santa did appear in this. The Richie's plank thing, and I just thought, okay, I know it's Christmas time, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure I didn't imagine that did happen.
That's true. I think my biggest hope with the Twilight Zone game is that it is getting some real visual upgrade. For PSVR2. This game came out well over a year ago on Quest, and I liked it for what it is. And calling it a game is being a little bit loose with the term game. It's a highly interactive experience. It's like you're living through a few episodes of the Twilight Zone, which is cool. But they have right, but they have the opportunity here. What else would they be spending all this time on if not, a new episode, which would be really cool. To make it more immersive, right? Because as good as it was very obviously a standalone title on Quest 2. There was no Quest 3 at the time. So I hope that all the time that they're putting into this port is going to amount to an upgraded, legit PSVR2 version of what is a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, totally agree. The visuals really turned me off. I didn't get far into it on the standalone. And it looked like, from the trailer that we saw here from the awards show, it looked like it a little bit touched up. So hopefully that's what they're doing right now, is they're enhancing it, because it could be a complete game changer for that one.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. This 15-second segment was definitely designed to show off, hey, look at these cool Christmas lights. Look, isn't the lighting in here really nice? So a little bit
definitely
more. Noticed
it.
Yeah, just a little bit more love, or trying to push a little bit more on the PSVR2 side of things. So definitely curious to see where that goes. Again, promised like quite a while ago, and now it kind of went dark. I obviously was asking about a release window, release date, and they're like, nope, just want to show a little bit of gameplay right now. I was like, all right, cool. So we'll keep you posted on that when we hear more. The next category I think was yours, AJ, right? First person shooter.
Hey-o. Did anybody spot the secret? So I did my video very fast.
Haven't we just skipped two things, or did we not? Did we just skip Wes?
Oh, we skipped highest graphical fidelity with Wes.
Oh, sorry.
Outrageous.
Yep.
Outrageous. I just want to apologize on behalf of the others, Wes.
Thank you.
That was quite... I mean, I love AJ, but I like you as well, Wes. I would hate to forget about that.
Yeah. But in their defense, this category, as great as the nominees were, a bit of a foregone conclusion, right?
Wow.
Like, best graphical fidelity. I mean, we had some good looking games this year, but man, Red Matter 2, just another level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did a great job pointing out, there was no reprojection, 120 frames native, the highest resolution. I think they said with the eye tracking or something, they said that they were able to get it was like a 6840 by 32 or 3400 resolution, which is just absurd. Absolute magicians. And yeah, I mean, obviously, they created the game in a way where this was achievable. But that doesn't change the fact that when I was playing it, the entire time I'm sitting there staring at like a brick in the wall for like for like 30 minutes. If a game can do that, then yes, that is that's a testament to how good it freaking looks.
That's crazy, man. I mean, this team is small. They're like minutely small. There's like 5 or 6 people on the whole crew. Their core team, and it isn't just PSVR, man. It's every platform. They're doing stuff that the other developers can't do, and it's just incredible how they continue to do this year after year, generation after generation. They make it look easy, right? Because it's not like this is something that's taking years and years for them to do. Like, typically a new platform comes out, a new piece of hardware, and within a couple of months, here comes Vertical Robot with the best thing that you've ever seen on it. So a very deserving winner here against some steep competition, admittedly, but man.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, Wes, because it's 20 votes. Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, Retribution got 20 votes. And I remember when we all played that, we'd already played Village, we'd already played Gran Turismo, we'd already played all the launch titles. And then here comes Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, and all of us sort of stopped and collectively gasped, and we're like, this is like, might be technically, maybe not environmentally, but technically the best looking PSVR2 game we've seen yet.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that was a thought that crossed all of our minds simultaneously, and it only got 20 votes.
That
right?
just shows you how stiff the competition is.
Yeah, absolutely.
No Man's Sky getting some love too.
Yeah, no, it's good to see that. It also makes me excited because when we think about like the future of PSVR2, it's always a question of like, when will the headset hit its like limit? And what this shows is the headset can last a very, very long time, because when things are optimized, things look so clear in there. It's a question of the power of, the machine it's plugged into. And so it actually shows that PSVR2 could long live into the PS5 Pro era and also the PS6 era as well. So I find that super, super exciting.
Hard agree.
AJ, your category was best first-person shooter, and yes, I'm skipping things here and there. Clearly, Resident Evil 4, which I say clearly,
what were all the nominees? Because I don't think it was that clear.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I mean, clearly, maybe in terms of like the voting and stuff. This was another, I even said it in my speech that you wrote for me. That
I don't know what you're talking about.
This was a highly, highly contested category, with the adaptive triggers, with the haptics, manual reloading. I mean, the gunplay, I don't think I've ever experienced better gunplay in my life than with PSVR 2 is offering right now. So we've already had some really, really exciting shooters now. And then it really bodes well for the future as well. I mean, this genre is going to really dominate for a while because of, it having these amazing hardware features thought out by Sony to support them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was very close here at all. 199 votes for Resident Evil 4. The second place was Pavlov with 134 votes. So Pavlov getting a lot of respect here.
I mean,
that's closer than the others, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, those top three are there's a lot of people that voted for those.
Yeah, Crossfire with 109 votes, Star Wars, and of course Arizona Sunshine 2. Definitely far fourth and fifth place. But yeah, I mean, I could see all of these winning, but for different reasons, right? It was interesting when we talked about different categories. This is the best first-person shooter. So it's sort of like, by saying it that way, you're like, oh, this is like the best first-person shooter game, not the best first-person shooter mechanics, right? And so it's really tough, I think, for Pavlov and Crossfire to compete with this full-fledged game that is RE4, this AAA flat-screen game that got brought over. And so sometimes the wording, I think, can change things up a little bit. If we said best first-person shooter mechanics, Pavlov could have very well taken it.
Yeah. I mean, and again, these are those votes for those other ones are no slouch either. That's a lot of people voting for those. And yeah, there's been some fantastic shooters. And Crossfire is an amazing first-person shooter. I cannot stress that enough. Pavlov's great. I love Pavlov too. Everybody knows how good Pavlov is, but I like to jump up a little bit extra. I like to jump up and down a little bit for games like Crossfire, where it's like I don't think everybody realizes, if you're a first-person shooter fan and you don't have this game, you're missing out big time with this one.
Especially if you have a friend to play through with.
It just goes to show how sometimes these AAA games can kind of muck things up a little bit when you're trying to recognize these other games. Because with AAA games, while Resident Evil 4 technically is a first-person shooter, AAA games are more than just one thing, right? Like Resident Evil 4 is a great action game. It's a great horror game. It's a great first-person shooter. Whereas when you think, first-person shooter, your mind typically does go to things like Pavlov and Crossfire, because that's what those games are. They are first-person shooters and nothing else.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
but yeah, they definitely a great selection of just every genre pretty much well represented this year in VR because of PlayStation VR and because of all the great new titles that we've seen debut this year.
And to its credit, Resident Evil 4 is a freaking fantastic first-person shooter as well. I mean, having to aim at certain weak spots of certain enemies, trigger a reaction, or to shoot them in a certain spot to find the weak spot. It does have great great first-person shooter mechanics as well. And the gunplay, the manual reloading, all that stuff is all really fantastic as well.
Indeed.
Guys, interesting. We got some VR skater news in the award show.
Yes.
Was not expecting that. And I should have expected that because I'm the one who put this shit together. But this is probably the absolute. This came through today, right? This came
I was going to say, were you like watching and you're like, oh shit, oh man, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Dude, you edited this.
it was about as close as you can get to that happening without that being what happened. And actually, I do have some details on this, and so
sweet.
Yeah, because the trailer gives a little bit, but it doesn't give everything. Yeah. So let me see here. Okay, so
while you're loading up, I just want to say that I played a bit of VR Skater over Christmas, and I feel like I was playing the game for the first time. I was absolute trash. And
it's a hard one to step away from and come back to.
Yeah.
But man, when you get hot with that game, like you're pulling off like these Tony Hawk underground tier combos.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, speaking of Tony Hawk, I don't know if you saw in this trailer that you go over this ramp and he crashes through some kind of icon. I didn't see exactly what it was. And it makes it reminded me of the Tony Hawk sound. Like when you get a VHS tape or something like that. So
yes.
They're certainly adding that kind of stuff to this. So
I love this.
This is the DLC trailer. Now the price, I'm assuming here, so please don't misquote me. I'm assuming that this is the DLC that Perp was talking about when the game released, saying if you buy the game before November 1st or October or something, then you get first batch of DLC for free. For everyone else, this is going to be 10 quid or 15 pounds or 15 euros. And the details are as follows. This pack contains a full tour with 5 brand new maps inspired by professional street skateboarding championships with smooth concrete terrain. These maps also bring with them exciting new game modes and mechanics. You get 5 street skating parks. They said these are. They said they want to be very clear about this. These parks are smaller than a classic VR skater map, right? Obviously, these long corridors, all the other maps that we played, these are much smaller because they're actual parks. The parks are available in a tour, which means that each park has 5 modes, including practice, in which medals can be collected, and thus the tour trophy can be won. Since the parks are like the ones from professional street skating contests, there's a new mechanic that allows you to skate the park in both directions. There is a new tutorial. Now, this is, I think, as close as they can get to being like, oh, you can just skate wherever you want, right? There's no, because I just don't think that's possible in this game. And so they're like, well, since it's a park, you can do it both ways. The 2 new modes available in the SL Pro Series Tour, Mission Run and Pro Run. These modes replace Spot Challenge and Street Run, so the modes are different in the SL Pro Series Tour, not more modes per map. There's 15 new leaderboards with 3 ranked modes for each map. There are new SL Pro exclusive items in the skate shop, 9 decks, 9 trucks, 6 wheels, 1 grip tape, and 4 new PSN trophies.
Ooh. Love this game.
Yeah.
Do they have the collectible letters where you collect skate at all?
I don't know. This is all the information that I have, but it obviously this trailer certainly alluded to something like that.
It seemed like it.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Perp or VR Skater though. All right, moving on. We had Umami Hero come on next to present the Scariest PSVR2 game of the year, which of course Propagation Paradise Hotel won. Shout out to Umami Hero, by the way. Umami Hero, definitely an underrated YouTuber, and thank you so much to the Without Parole Gamecat community. These guys constantly pointing me in directions of people who are doing great work when I might not have the time to be looking out there in the community to find them. But he's obviously doing great work, great PSVR2 supporter. And so, Scariest game, Propagation Paradise Hotel. Everybody feeling good about this?
Hell yeah, man. I mean, one of the biggest surprises of the year. And yeah, definitely could see that being the scariest game of the year as well. I voted for it. It was terrifying. It has, between the jump scares, and just the tension, the constant tension and atmosphere, and then the jump scares on top of it. Yeah, it scared the shit out of me. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that this was a good use of choosing the title wisely to allow a game from a smaller studio like this to come away with a well-deserved win. Instead of the Resident Evil being able to take everything home with it. So yeah, scariest game, absolutely. I mean, there's some very tense moments in this thing where they do a lot of things well. I'm typically not a fan of jump scares in games because typically they're pretty cheesy and predictable, but not in this game. They do a good job of masking those moments and allowing you to kind of organically walk into them, and it's very effective. So yeah, a deserving winner here in a genre that has been maybe the best genre in PSVR this year. So yeah, very good.
Yeah, well, as soon as I played it, my thoughts were this is the most fun I've had on PSVR2 in a long time. It was constant tension, and one of my favorite elements of this entire game is the enemies. When you shoot them, the way they don't move like computer game zombies. They move realistically. And so when you're killing them and you think you've killed them and they're falling towards you, you don't feel comfortable. You're like, wait, have I just shot them? Are they falling to the ground or are they staggering still towards me? And the fact that they nailed that, and also the fact, I know you shouldn't judge them based on this. This comes from a developer that makes Ragnarok, another game I absolutely love, by the way. A game that is very like cozy, fun, and then they do this. It just blows my mind to see one developer do 2 completely different things and do them excellent. I felt like I was in a classic Resident Evil game, like on the PS2 era, and I don't mean that in a bad way because obviously graphically it looks great as well. But the tension was constant with this game. It's an incredibly dark game, and it was a lot of fun.
Yep. Wes had absolutely nailed it. He told me before the game even came out, he said, I was like, is this like Saints and Sinners? Like a Saints and Sinners Light? And he said, nope. This is like Resident Evil 1. And I was like, sold. And you were fucking right about that shit.
Yeah. I love how much they crammed in this between the enemies, the weapon variety, the boss fights. They did a fantastic job with this. Very highly polished, well-contained game.
Let's see here. Nar Station got revealed. This is the upcoming game by Strange Game Studios. Does not reveal very much, and since the trailer doesn't reveal very much, I feel like maybe we shouldn't reveal very much. But
that was Strange Games. Okay, I missed that part.
Yep, absolutely. Just going down the corridor, the door slamming, and some kind of creature with its hand around the door.
I'm so hyped.
Got some creepy vibes going on, man. And so, again, without
it's like Cosmo Dread, but good.
Listen, you sir, can go fuck yourself.
Shots are fired.
I totally just derailed that.
Now, I have to say, Reggie and like the whole team, I just love that they just make really fun games, and they always. I just get this feeling from them, and obviously on Discord we get to chat with them as well. It's what do we want to make? What do we want to make next? We want to make this kind of game. Let's just go and make it. And I just love that energy, like super super cool. So I'm really excited to see what they're coming up with here.
Yep.
Not too scary, please.
Yep, Reggio has these grandiose dreams of being like, I can make that game in like 3 months. And then like 8 months later, it's like, we're trying to get through. Sorry. We'll get there. All right, what else we got? We've got, we already talked about the First Contact news. Reggie picking up some of those guys.
Awesome news.
Ultrawings 2. This wasn't like a lot. If anybody's been really paying close attention to Ultrawings 2 and BitPlanet Games over on Twitter, this wasn't a big, oh my God moment. But they are confirming that Ultrawings 2 is coming in January. It was supposed to be out before the end of the year. And I mean, I don't know if you've seen this trailer, but
yeah, this is an old trailer.
Exactly, but it looks much better than the
it's
Quest.
A good trailer.
Yes, it's much better than the Quest trailer that had been going around for a while. This just looks like crisp and clear. And for the love of God, let's hope this is how this game looks when we get it on PSVR2.
Yeah, I've heard the PCVR. Maybe Wes can answer this, but I've heard the PCVR version is very much improved over the standalone version, which looked okay. But you throw in some high fidelity with Ultrawings, and I mean, this game is an absolute blast. I've played about like 6.5 hours of it, and I was thoroughly enjoying this game quite a bit, and I felt like I only scratched the surface of it.
Yeah, a lot of game here, and it is a proper sequel to Ultrawings. And you're right, it does look better on PC than it does on Quest, noticeably better. Now, at the end of the day, of course, it is still Ultrawings, and it still does have that cartoony art style. But it looks really good, and a lot of different game modes, a lot of different aircraft, proper expansion over the original game, and it's just fun to play. So yeah, I think that this is a game that should be pretty well received when it does make its way to PSVR2 soon.
We needed a good flight game. Yep, January.
Yeah. We don't know if Aces of Thunder. We're hoping Aces of Thunder is going to be good, but we don't know yet. I feel very confident that this will likely be very, very good. I know it's good.
Although that was some other news recently. The Aces of Thunder is, wrapping up development. It was like, wow, that game is coming out much sooner than I think most of us thought it was.
Yeah, I'm very excited about both of these because this is like, I think, one of the most fun genres for VR games.
It brings us to, in a second, I'm going to have to get some more coffee, and then we're going to have to get caught up on some tips. But that brought us to Ian Higton's fantastic presentation for
he was all right.
Most VRAF game. Don't be jealous of other UK dudes.
I thought my unique selling point was I was British.
I'm the only British guy that can be allowed on this channel. That's how it works.
Well, if I don't have that, what else do I have to go on? I'm nothing.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
Ian I absolutely love, and he absolutely smashed it.
Yeah. Absolutely killed it. Best VRAF mechanics, obviously went Saints and Sinners Chapter 2, Retribution. Just awesome stuff. I don't know if we need to stick on that too much longer. Anybody?
Well,
no?
Just good that, we've always considered that to be a pretty big benchmark VR title, and they still have the crown.
Yep.
Best all around game in VR. I feel like. I mean, they do such a good job at everything, whether it be the storytelling and the branching narrative, or the VRAF mechanics, or the beautiful visuals. it's a complete game, and I think that it's great, and I'm glad that they did come away with something.
Yeah, awesome for them.
Yep. It brings us to Max Mustard. I'm going to be showing old footage here. So again, if you guys, a lot of these are old trailers that I'm showing. A lot of them are just things I happen to have handy. So if you want to see all the new stuff, make sure you go back and watch the award show, which ended like 2 hours ago. But yeah, Max Mustard, I think looking better than ever. They got us some exclusive footage, and they're doing the thing that I was really worried that they weren't going to do, and that was the whole Astrobot thing. The Astrobot thing, where it's like just as important to do stuff in first person as it is to in order to help your third person character, as it is to do stuff in third person, the third person platforming. And so it looks like they're really integrating this stuff well. I gotta grab copies.
I'm excited about that one. It's like you said, it's a combination of kind of guiding the character through the areas, platforming and stuff, but then you're shooting some suction cup gun and kind of multitasking. That's how you make these third person platformers better and more immersive, is by having you do these first person mechanics. And man, while we wait and pray for another Astrobot, stuff like this is really helping me get by as I wait.
Yeah, amazing that we don't just have dozens of these games in VR by now. Like it's a popular genre from the very beginning of video games, and it's a genre that translates so well into VR. I'm surprised that we don't get one of these every 3 months, but we don't, and that's why it's so exciting to see something that looks so super polished and cool looking as Max Mustard. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one.
And next time I'll bring mustard. Use mustard.
What?
Somebody will get that. Kino will get that.
All right.
Mustard.
Macho the real estate procrasting Gamecat with the $5 tip says, guys, amazing show, better than the Game Awards, and devs got time to actually speak. Well, it's because I didn't have the ability to tell them to shut up.
Watch out, Jeff Keighley. Brian's coming for your job.
But it was really nice. It was really nice to, rather than everybody coming up on the same stage, it was kind of cool to like look at everybody's background and be like, oh, like what do they have? Why is Peter Ackerman holding a goddamn sword? Like, we don't ask, we don't ask questions.
It looked like he had a sword accident, man. It looked like it was like jabbed in his kneecap, and he was like
by the sword.
Polite to mention it to anyone because he kept going like this and like not talking about the sword again. And I was like, dude, do you need a hand with that?
Let me tell you, the real accident is when people send things, send things in portrait mode rather than landscape. That's the real accident. No,
that is bad, man. That's unforgivable. That's against the Geneva Convention.
You can see more of the sword in the original video, but I had to blow it up a little bit. He says, back to Macho's tip, says, top tier quality, Brian. That was so worth not having a show all week. Oh, thanks. I'm glad it worked out. Appreciate that. Macho with another tip said, with a $10 tip, says, devs from a studio, single A studio, I don't know, I'll have to read the whole thing, who seem to have done everything wrong, going to one that has been doing so much right. Beta's good community. Oh, he's talking about the difference between Ultra and Breachers. Got it. Beta's good community communication. I hope they add their skill and get to learn and be part of a great team. Absolutely. Oh, going for no, I get it. Not Breachers.
I think he's talking about strange games.
Yep, You nailed it. Yep. I hope, dude. I hope that relationship works out great, and the fact that we get to see the fruits of that labor like very quickly is awesome. Motorcycles on my end.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this misconception that Sony can't have betas, and it's like, well, Strange Games has had 3. So what?
I mean, 3.
What is?
I feel like it's been like double digits.
Yeah. So I don't know why the misinformation keeps spreading around.
Yep.
But yeah, if their betas exist.
Yep. Again, I want to hear the story behind this one. Living Legend with the Canadian $5 tip says, a VRE. Why do people send me messages that I have to read that don't make sense when they come out of my mouth? A very, spelled VRY, Merry Christmas in a very VRE Happy New Year, Gamecats. Been playing Ben.
VRE Merry Christmas and VRE Happy
VRE
Year.
Yeah. Right. For Liverpool. I never read that right. I know it's Forever Pool. I never read it right the first time. I'm like, for VR?
I know. I did that as well until I think I watched Myles stream Forever Bowling, and I was like, oh, it's pronounced forever.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I love that old Gamecat, to be fair.
Forever.
Okay, for VR.
Living Legend finishes off his tip by saying, been playing Ven VR2 lately and really digging it. That is awesome. Nice holiday game. Gamecat and the Gamecat Andrew Aaron Reich with a $2 tip says, great award show. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year and such. Happy New Year and such, and Merry Christmas and such, and Happy Easter and such, and other holidays that aren't Christian and such to you too.
Where's that Andrew guy to say and such again?
I think he got bored.
One.
I think he got bored of saying it, counting your and stuff.
Maybe I stopped saying and stuff.
Oh, no, you didn't.
So he went away.
Every time you say it, I'm like, bing. I'm just like, the counter goes off in my head. It's actually like an odometer just keeps rolling. Clem Fandango with the 10 quiz says, congratulations on such a great award show, Brian. The hard work, effort, and enthusiasm you put into it and have for PSVR is truly inspiring. Love all four of you. No, we love you, Clem. We do. Waleed is now a Gamecat, specifically White Tiger, with the level 1 membership, says, awesome show, guys. Loved it. Happy holidays. Thank you very much, Waleed. Hope you're doing well.
Happy holidays, Waleed.
Macho's killing it with the tips tonight. With the $5 tip says, it's so beautiful that you've gathered the whole VR community and gave smaller guys a spotlight. BWTFL thing you got here. Oh, beautiful. I thought it was like going to stand for 5 words or something. Beautiful thing you got here. Keep going and let's only get better. Just want to say, most of the people who I reached out to said yes, to present an award. There was I had messaged a couple people who didn't see the message until kind of like last night, and so there were supposed to be even more people on. Somebody had suggested that I got one of the dudes from Digital Foundry and Mr. Linneman over there, and yeah, and unfortunately, that was one of the very few that I got zero response from, and so maybe he'll do it next year. We'll see.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah, but very cool stuff. I'm very, very thrilled how many people came out of the woodwork to say yes to this. And Beardo Benjo next year.
Ryan Mystic.
I didn't even reach out to Ryan. That would have been cool.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. Next year.
Dude, and like they're in a lot of this was so last minute that like there are definitely people that I wish like Cass and Cherry, I wish I'd reached out to them. Didn't even think about it because
you were juggling
too much going
shit
on.
Ton.
Yep.
As the technical term goes.
But this is the time like that I like to more than any other time. We've always tried to include as many people from the VR community as possible. The VR community has just grown so much. The first time we did this, there were like 5 VR channels, and that was like 2019 or something. It's been crazy. Let's keep this rolling because we're almost caught up on tips. Rabbi Sav with the 5 quid says, didn't realize there was an after show. Oh, hi. This was a while ago, so I think you're caught up by now because he says, watching at 1.5 speed to get caught up. Great show. Thank you very much. Macho's here again with another $5. Says, while Jeff gives 30 seconds to developers and minutes for VR sections, you are the true go-to VR Game Award and VR channel. Devs remember us when VR goes mainstream. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. And thanks for all the kind
words. Still annoyed about not getting my free popcorn.
When I'm watching the Game Awards and they let these guys have 20 seconds and they immediately start playing them off with the music, I always feel so embarrassed for these guys because obviously this moment means so much to them, and then they're just stepping on it just so that they can, keep their schedule and get all their ads in. So yeah, I think
it's a learning experience too. They tried to learn from last time, and then now they had to, even Jeff Keighley said he agrees that it was not right to kick them off the stage, but they plan ahead and that's what they went with, and they'll make adjustments.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
It would be funny if you did that, Brian. Like halfway through one of the dev videos, you start just playing the closing music.
I almost did that for my
don't think
thing talking about it. I was going to start playing music. and be like, "Oh, the award."
This was definitely one of the jokes that I wanted to pull off, and there were so many things that I wanted to do with this award show, and that like, when I tell you that this thing got, I finished editing it like 2-3 hours before it aired. That was just enough time to render it and upload it and let YouTube process it and then play it. I was like, oh man, I could have absolutely used like another week to polish this thing up, but again, sometimes
next year.
Dude,
next year.
No, next year's going to go the exact same way as it went this year.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And then,
but that's beside the point, because obviously you guys really enjoyed it as is. So thank you so much for not being too judgmental.
Also,
yeah,
it was really nice being able to hear it. Good props, Brian.
Yep. Another joke that I wanted to run with.
I like audio. Audio is really good. I like audio. I like being able to hear an award show.
They've taken so much heat for this, and
I know.
maybe deservingly.
Much love for them.
Deservingly.
Much love for them.
Grandpa's Barbecue Gamecat with the Australian $5 tip says excellently produced PSVR2 awards. Thank you, Brian, and everyone involved in putting the 2023 awards together. Thank you so much. Dan Phillips, welcome to Level 1 membership. Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver Gamecat, what's up? With the $5 tip says, great award show, Brian. It's great having all of you here for a show. Nice surprise. Been going to RE4 every day. Happy early New Year's. Hell yeah. Kawa04 now with the 120 plantains sends 4 hearts. 3 of those are mine. You guys can split up the other one. Thank you, Kava. Appreciate you very much. Emily Baxter, hashtag the Cartoony Witch Game Kit with a $2 tip says, prediction 2024, cartoony games will still suck. Prediction 2024, you will not change. Magnum Gaming with a $5 tip says, what's more powerful, PSVR 2 with foveated eye tracking rendering or Quest 3 tethered to a PC? Depends on your PC. That's my answer. That's the only thing that makes sense. All right, we're going to get back to this here, and we'll get back to the tips in a little bit. I just wanted to make a little bit of progress here so that we weren't drowning. I think of all of us, Wes, you're the only one who played Dead Hook on Quest, correct?
Indeed. I did play Dead Hook. Another one of those titles like Genotype and Light Brigade that was surprisingly good. I assumed that it would be okay. I thought it would be your normal standard fair Joyway game that was solid, but had many ways that it could improve. But no, man, this game is high octane. The movement is so intuitive and fun, and that's what really makes the game. It's a very aerial game. It's Spider-Man with guns. No, it's not Spider-Man with guns. It's Doom with grappling hooks, and like Doom, in Doom Doom VFR, where you would teleport yourself into the enemies to kill them. Mm-hmm. Now you're grappling into them, and the mechanics feel really good. The soundtrack's good. There's a wide variety of different weapons and variations. It is kind of roguelike, but it gives you kind of a choice with the direction you go. And what I mean by that is every arena leads into 2 more, and it tells you on the door what type of room it is. So there's a different rule set in the different room types, and it kind of lets you pick most of the time. Now, sometimes it doesn't, and it makes it a surprise. But I was very surprised at just how fun this is to play. It reminded me a lot of Doom, not just in the way that it plays, but in that feeling that you get when you play it, that kind of adrenaline rush, so to speak, that comes along with playing. And it's my favorite Joyway game. Probably. Stride Fates is pretty good too, but it was really good.
It's one of my most anticipated titles, just because I know it's going to feel epic. The music, AJ is going to be the same as me. Just the music alone sounds awesome. And I'm just super, super excited because I wanted there to be a Doom Eternal game in VR, which there isn't going to be. And this looks like the next best thing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, metal aside, which is awesome. There's still it's the gameplay and the game loop and the style of it that really has me excited here. This is the kind of game like I would for Doom, where I enjoy cranking up the difficulty on these and just having just a brutal, just action-packed fun experience.
And let me be clear here too with the grappling. it's not just like attaching and swinging yourself. It's not that at all. You can grapple and attach to any surface. You can attach to enemies. You can attach to any of the walls or floor or ceiling. And when you pull yourself, you fly full speed in that direction. So it really is. It's it takes the training wheels off. This isn't a game for beginners, but it's so fun.
I like the sound of that. Yep. And I want this to succeed because I just want Stride on PSVR2. And that includes, I mean, regular old Stride and also Stride Fates. I'm like, there's no way Stride sold well on PSVR1 when they finally brought that game over, right? It was just too little too late. And so I really hope we get a second chance at that game. And of course, Stride Fates, the single player version. So come on, Joyway, make this shit happen. But who knows, man? Like, Wes, you've definitely discussed their business mentality before on Gamescast. And it sounds like that happening might very well be contingent on the success of this game.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign that they're bringing Dead Hook to PSVR 2. Because really, their hesitation hasn't been with bringing this title or that title over. It's been, is PSVR 2 going to be a viable enough platform for us to make money on? And there never really was any doubt that it would eventually be. The question with them has always been when to get into PSVR 2. Do we do it now? Do we do it later? And the fact that they're bringing Dead Hook over now says to me that they'll probably be bringing all of their titles over now, which is good because I know you kind of dug Stride. I didn't like Stride.
I like Stride a lot,
but Stride Fates is really good. So
nice.
I hope that one's going to follow up Dead Hook relatively soon.
As the next category was the most anticipated game, and people who know, well, you know that there might have been a little screw up here, but we don't need to advertise the screw up. We'll just pretend like it didn't happen. It did not affect the voting or anything like that. So let me bring up the polls. These are everybody who voted. So let's take a closer look at this.
What was the mess up?
You mean the thing I said we weren't going to talk about, Myles?
Yeah.
What's the mess up? Okay, I mean, so
just tell me, and then we don't tell anyone else.
Okay, well, listen, Myles, get close to the button.
Yeah,
right. Up until the absolute last second, we weren't sure what games to include in this category. And we kind of went back and forth for a little while. And AJ was like, how can you not have Bulletstorm on this list? And I was like, that's true. Bulletstorm's going to be real popular. But at the same time, but the one that we kept talking about taking off in favor of Bulletstorm was Arken Age. And so somehow Arken Age never went up for a vote. And it was never a thing. It was never somebody, but that was what was shown on the awards as one of the nominees, which was never the case. And so so Bulletstorm was supposed to be in the video today. I'm surprised you didn't, because I think we probably argued for like an hour over which game needed to be in this list.
I tried to get us to expand this category. I wanted.
Right.
I thought there was too many. There's too many good games to look forward to, and and then there was the thing with like Vertigo 2, and it's like we don't know if that's going to be releasing. Like it was a tricky one.
It was super tricky, but I just love that we debated over Bulletstorm for so long, and it was the one that got by far the least number of votes. However, I will say I'm terrible at predicting things, because my guess was that Aces of Thunder or Phasmophobia were going to easily take this, and it wasn't even close. What was close was that there were only 10 votes between Wanderer and Behemoth took it.
Wow.
That gives me a little bit of faith in the community, man, that like they're looking forward to like these, what could potentially be very, very good games, right?
They know what's up.
And don't get me wrong, I can't wait for Phasmophobia and Aces of Thunder, but I just thought those would be the games people would be gravitating towards.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, cool. Well, we won't say any of that on the stream, but that's good to know.
We'll save that.
What happened
behind the scenes? Yeah,
most anticipated game.
171 went to Behemoth, and only 491 people voted. 10, but it only won by 10 votes. Wanderer was second place.
Wanderer's devs are probably like, who in the office didn't vote?
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing, I mean, sometimes these things do come down to like these studios sharing these polls and
Just
saying,
get
"Hey,
your grandma, just to press the mouse button." Yeah.
Yeah, considering the games that we only know about coming next year so far, and like I said, we're going to be hitting the ground running.
Yep.
We're definitely going to be starting off next year pretty strong. But yeah, man, Behemoth, dude, Behemoth. Obviously it's made by Saints and Sinners devs. It got pushed back a year because and then we got to see Peter Aikman.
Me too. Peter Bankman. Yep.
Peter Bankman. I always I mean he is he for those that don't know, he's a big leader over there at Skydance, a big visionary behind Saints and Sinners, also a long history in the games industry. He's kind of a genius. And it was cool to see him talk about it and talk about how serious they were with how serious they're taking the development of Behemoth. That it's nice to hear that things are going well with the game and that they have this huge vision. He even talked a little bit about them iterating on the Saints and Sinners combat formula to kind of make it even better. So high hopes for this one. Really, really excited for Behemoth, and it was awesome to see Peter Aikman give us a nice little message.
Moving on, you guys. As long as everybody has gotten their say here about the most anticipated game. Anybody surprised by this? The fact that it was a CGI trailer?
No, I'm not surprised by it at all. And I think that CGI trailer might have a little something to do with the level of anticipation here. Like, people still want to know what this game is going to be. And, coming from Skydance, Ghostbusters notwithstanding, or not Ghostbusters, but
I was like, what?
Arashi notwithstanding.
Oof. Yeah, I've already forgotten about that.
Most people are have a lot of faith that this game that they're pushing back by a year is really going to be something special. And not for nothing, you're absolutely right. I think we had 15 nominees in this category. There's so many great games scheduled to come out next year. But no, I think Behemoth is the one that gets brought up most in conversation when I look at the Discord and people talk about what they're looking forward to. I think I see Behemoth come up more than any other game, so it makes sense, and I'm not surprised at all that it won here.
I mean, pushing it back a year could mean, it could be a sign of great quality, or it could be a sign of just really poor admin, and they just got the year wrong, and they were like, "Oh shit, we need to scrub with that and put it back a year."
Well, this is shaping up to be an RPG, this is like our Skyrim, Shadow of the Colossus, and Souls-like games. So that is definitely 3 genres, 3 styles that mesh with me for sure. Yeah,
no, I'm super hyped for it, but I will say, credit to Wanderer, a game that's a known quantity. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to play it again, but it is going to be playing a game again, although they say there are new things that have been added. For a game that has already been released on PSVR, to rank as highly as that against a new IP by a well-established developer that has a great track record, huge credit to Wanderer.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I'm really interested, not only in the game, but I'm interested to see how well received that game's going to be.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It is a heavily story-driven game, and we've played it already. And I'm sure there's going to be a ton of new stuff added in, right? New content.
Yep.
New features and content, yeah.
Right. At its core, we've seen a lot of this. But with that said, we are talking about the game of the year that it came out. We're talking about an exceptional game. So to get a better version of what already is an all-time great VR game, it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. How fun is it to play a game that essentially had very, very little replay value? How fun is it going to be to play through a remake? of it just a couple of years on from it initially being released, and how are people going to respond to that? It's going to be interesting.
Yep. It's an excellent point. And I'm also wondering how many people didn't play it on PSVR 1. Like at that point, when that game came out, it came out, the same day or the same week as Zenith: The Last City. I mean, just two, as far as I was concerned, stellar titles, kind of like bringing in the last year or two of PSVR 1. So many people had already moved on. So many people had already moved on to Quest or PC VR, just saying, waiting for Sony to finally say, no, PSVR 2 is going to be a thing. That's what everybody said to us. Some people it wasn't that they didn't believe us that PSVR 2 was coming. It was that they just needed proof. They just needed to hear it from Sony, before they continued down the PSVR path. And so a lot of people had moved on at that point. And of course, it was available on PC as well. So I don't know how much love it got over there. Hopefully a lot.
It was good. It was good on PC. So good, in fact, that I'm still surprised to see that it's coming to Quest this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. But looking good, looking really good.
Indeed.
All right, guys, we just have a couple more things left here on the award show. Next one up was, I believe this is called Skyclimb. This is coming to us from VR Monkey. They are obviously quite a prolific port studio at this point. Most of the great ports that we've been seeing have a big VR Monkey logo at the start of it. And this is one of their original properties, which is, if Galaxy Kart taught us anything, this game will be great in a year.
Whoa! Whoa! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Listen again. It looks like an erratic locomotion system. Looks like a lot of jumping, climbing, and I mean it's called Skyclimb. And so again, just like Stilt, I'm looking forward to this for the exact same reasons.
Right. Toss without bananas.
Toss without bananas.
Yeah.
Give it to us straight, AJ.
Yeah, I wasn't I don't know. I wasn't super impressed with this. It looks a little too much for children. But I like platformers, and I liked the build your own level thing. I like the concept of it, I guess. But this was probably one of my least favorite reveals here. But maybe in a year after it releases.
Maybe it'll be good.
Excellent.
It's just a trailer. Maybe it'll be good.
Yeah.
I found I really related to the trailer. There was a lot of themes there that I just mirrored my own life. Yeah. Yeah.
Some dark undertones.
Yeah.
You live in the sky? I thought you lived in Britain. UK.
No, I live in an interesting neighborhood. There's a lot of these people here that I feel might actually be my neighbors. But
are you in the Myles High Club?
Whoa! Oh, put it there, AJ. Put it there, AJ.
Friday already?
I got you, bro. I got you. You're an inspiration to us all.
Oh, dude, honestly, I feel like a proud parent right now. I'm actually welling up. That's a beautiful.
Nathan delivered the best PSVR 2 exclusive category, and we were very specific about this one. This is non-hybrid. These were games that were specifically built for PlayStation VR 2. When we call it exclusive, we mean exclusive. You cannot play this on the flat screen. You cannot play this on any other headset. You have to play it on PSVR 2, or don't even try. 496 votes in this category. Half of them went to Horizon Call of the Mountain, although Synapse, very respectable with 37%.
I think it's good. While I do feel bad about Synapse and kind of the potential of what it could have been had it been more substantial in scope. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see Horizon getting the recognition this year, not only in our own awards show, but in the wider sphere as well.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel like this is as we leave to 2023, this is an underrated game. People forgot how fun it was when it came out, and it's like those underlying fears that we had about the game before we played it. It seems like people are remembering that even more than what they felt about the game when they actually played it. So like we had a high level of anxiety about the game based on some of the things we heard pre-launch. We played the game and where we were all blown away by it, although it wasn't perfect. We all know the game's flaws, but it seems like since we've moved on and have played other games since then, we've forgotten just how good it is. So I'm glad to see now at the end of the year, as we look back, that people are once again kind of remembering just how good and polished this AAA VR game was. So yeah, I'm glad to see it win here, even though I do feel bad because of Synapse. If it had just done a little bit more, I mean, we might be talking about it as PSVR Game of the Year.
Can I give a quick shout out to Nathy as well?
Please do.
Yeah.
He is one of the genuinely most nicest, friendliest people in this whole ecosystem that I've seen in the VR space, especially as a content creator. He was seriously one of the friendliest people I've met out here. So dude's got a big heart, and it was I'm honored to have him as one of the announcers for one of the show. But he also did us a solid and did a little nod. Did you see? Did you see what he did there? He had his little Astrobot, and he's talking about Sony exclusives, and he was like, come on, Sony, where's the next Astrobot? So he's doing God's work out there, man. Shout out to Nathy.
Yeah, shout out to Nathy big time. He is one of the people who, of course, I reach out to and immediately goes, yeah, absolutely. Like, cool. Like, just no question about it. He's been doing the award show for, I think this is his third award show that he's been on. I could be wrong. We've had some very pleasant video chats over Discord. And he's, genuine nice dude. Seriously
nice guy.
Yep.
Like, awesome dude. I'm a big fan of his because of just how friendly he is.
I don't want to take anything away from Nathy, or Call of the Mountain, but I do want to say, there were obviously a bunch of awards that like we didn't pay close attention to, and so when it would say, "Oh, it kind of sucks that End Dreams didn't get this non-hybrid exclusive category win," End Dreams did win 3 other awards. And that was kind of swept under the rug a little bit, just because for the sake of expediting the show a little bit, they got best use of eye tracking, which obviously you're telekinetic superhero. That's pretty
honestly
crazy.
It's so amazing.
It
is mind blowing still. Yeah.
Most artistic visuals, which again, no other game looks like Synapse. The second you see
Also
that game, you know
good.
what game it is.
Too bad that Walkabout mini golf. Maybe if you included all of Walkabout mini golf, it would have had a better chance. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, good.
Well,
yeah.
Shots fired.
And then and also won best roguelike. So like best and honestly, like again, no shade to Synapse, it's not the best roguelike.
No. And it really
roguelike. It's that roguelike versus roguelike mechanics thing again, like you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
Exactly.
Is it the best roguelike mechanics? No, but is it the best roguelike? Well, I mean, why not?
Right. Yeah, dude. So many people said Synapse is their favorite VR game, like of all time, and so there's no arguing with not only the best roguelike, but some people's fucking favorite VR game, right? That game just hit people completely differently, to the point where like they just couldn't stop playing it, and like the people messaging me, my friend, like one of my close friends messaging me, just telling me how much he loves the game, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's awesome. Like people who aren't like super invested in roguelites, right? Who aren't like, oh man, I wish they had done this skill tree differently.
Yes.
Like we've played too many roguelites in our lives. We think we know like what it should be, or how long it should take, or how much grinding it should take, or whatever, right? A lot of people don't care about that. And I think those are the people who maybe like thoroughly enjoyed the game even more than we did.
Yes.
I do think...
Okay.
Yeah, you go, AJ.
I was just going to say Synapse is the new, in my opinion, it's like the new super hot. Like if what makes that game extremely special is like, it's a wonderful game for people that are trying out VR for the first time. It's an excellent game to throw them into and be like, dude, check this out.
It's a one of a kind. It's a one of a kind. It's a game that does things that no other game does, and it's probably the best example of what sets PSVR2 apart as a platform. The best example that we have today. So that's what really stands out about Synapse to me, is just how unique of an experience it is, how well done it is, and it does the best job at showing off the potential of virtual reality currently.
Yeah, it's VRAF in so many ways, and I do actually think it's an underrated game, and I actually throw that criticism at myself as well, which is we play so many games, we have all these expectations, and a lot of the discourse around Synapse when it came out was less about what it is and more about what it isn't. And it's not to say that that isn't fair to talk about. You should always talk about, like, this is the stuff that's missing. It didn't have a boss. All things I completely agree about. But the game they set out to do and what they did, it's well polished. It's fun as fuck to play. And the eye tracking, like the telekinesis, it's flawless, man. Like, I think, and I say that, like, kind of reflecting on my own opinions as well. I don't think I give it enough credit myself of how flawless the telekinesis is in that game. It just seamlessly works. You know how to push something far away. You can pick up a box, put it into the distance, and get someone round the corner. The fact that they've managed to do that is phenomenal. And so I'm really happy to see End Dreams pick up a few awards for that game on this at the end of the year.
It's a very important PlayStation VR2 exclusive. A great showcase in many ways, but I had a shocking revelation, Brian and crew. The whole team referred to this game as Synapse.
It's Synapse.
Have I been saying this game? Have I been saying this wrong the entire time, or is this one of those Zenith?
Just because they're all pronouncing it differently does not mean they're right.
I was calling it Synapse, and you were going Synapse, and I was like, I'll call it a bit of both. I just mix it up a bit. Sometimes I call it Synapse. Synapse sounds like a poor marketing ploy.
Garage.
You sigh, and then you have a nap after playing it.
Yeah, you don't want to say that. Yeah, Synapse. It's like the synapse effect with the brain and the neurons firing in the back of your head. You know, amazing. We call it Synapse.
Yeah, sin, and then you have a nap.
Wow,
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Pretty cool reveal for Arken Age was next. And now I say reveal, it was definitely. Oh, it's 4K apparently because it just took up the whole screen.
Can I just say about this, Brian? Yeah. When I saw the first reveal trailer and everyone was going on about it, I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of cool." This trailer, I was like, "Okay, now I'm interested." Yep. Like, it's not that I thought bad of it last time. I just thought there's a lot of games that are coming out which I'm just like, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm just not feeling it at the moment. This trailer, there was a lot of moments in there. I was like, okay, yeah. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
In response to that, I'm playing the old trailer. Again, watch the game, the award show. If you want to see the new trailer.
Don't judge it on what I've said on this.
Listen, I don't disagree with you. Like, I thought the original trailer was great, but the new trailer shows so many more, like, kind of VRAF things. And it just reminded me of all the very cool moments that we experienced in Shadow Legend, where you're standing at in a shop trying to buy stuff from somebody, and you actually put money down the table and you pick up the items. You're not in a menu. You are absolutely interacting with the shopkeeper in the most VRAF way possible. And so there were things in the new trailer that made me think of that immediately. So absolutely.
The depth, the added depth in this trailer looked really, really good. I love how, you're mining, it shows him, like, just as an example, mining the crystals, and you're like, okay, that's cool, but that's stuff we've seen 1,000 times. But then he, like, does, like, puts his hand up to it and, like, sucks whatever vapors or juice from the crystals out of it. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty damn cool. And then there's the, customizing the weapon with, like, the colors that you want and stuff. Just looks like this trailer showed, like, a little bit more depth that I really, really liked. It got me way more excited about it.
I got a lot of Stormland vibes watching it. Just the lush environments, the freedom of movement, the action sequences.
The parrying.
The I'm really looking forward to this game a lot. It looks like a legit AAA game, even though we know it's not. It looks like it is, and I'm very much looking forward to playing this one.
It's looking very good. The bosses, and the sound design, good shit.
Because my memory of the first trailer was the bit where they jump into the water diving, and it's like, that's going to be kind of cool. But then as they hit the water, you'll not notice this probably until I mention it. Their hands and their feet go in the water. So it's like, oh, they're diving in, and it's actually they're going in like... I was like, oh, okay, that's
going to hurt.
Like an Olympic diver.
I mean, that's how I would Olympic dive. I'd just be happy to hit the water in one piece.
That seemed like it might hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
You're supposed to break that at the end.
Yeah.
We were this close, guys. We were this close to this being a release date trailer. This close. Oh. And so they're obviously getting closer to release. They just don't want to commit to anything. They don't want to Vertigo to this thing, right? They want to make sure that when they have a release date, it's the correct release date and they won't have any problems. So as much as I would have loved to share a release date with you guys today, shit happens. And I'd much rather have them do it this way.
Share one. What kind of date do you think they'd go for, Brian?
It looks like they're aiming for quarter one, quarter two.
Okay, interesting.
First half of 2024 for sure is what they sounded like they.
Oh yeah, early 2024. It sounds like. I mean, like this
How early?
I feel like it's less than a few months out. Like again, without me having like firsthand knowledge, I don't want to start putting words in their mouth. But it feels like we'll see this within a few months.
So like 30 to 40 days, would we say?
30 to 90 days.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe 45 to
90 days. Heard it here first.
60 to 90 days.
Delay incoming.
PSVR exclusive. 30 to 90 days.
This shit's showing up on Reddit, isn't it?
Yep. February 20th confirmed.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. March 6th.
In the future. It's going to come out in the future. Not now.
Yep.
You've heard it here.
Yep.
Q1
end of March.
Bloody Hell Hotel. That was more of a reminder than anything. Bloody Hell Hotel. PSVR2 has been their plan like all along. It's obviously a flat screen PC game, but they really wanted to bring that to VR. When I talked to them, they were just basically like, yeah, I mean, we don't want to commit to a date, don't want to commit to a window. Like, we just want to make sure people know that it's still coming, that it's still a priority for us, and that's very cool as far as I'm concerned. Looks like it could be a lot of fun.
This game looks fucking awesome.
Bloody Hell Hotel.
About it.
Looks like it. Yeah, I was assuming they're going to take their time with it, make sure it's nice and polished up. Did it release on flat screen yet?
Heading over to the Steam store. No,
I think it. Did it even release flat yet? Yeah, I don't know. I would think so.
I don't know. I'd forgotten completely about this one until the trailer started playing.
Yeah, this was actually really exciting. I'm glad you included this because
to be announced. It is not out on Steam yet.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
This is weird because this seems like it's going to be a dungeon crawler hotel renovation game.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the art style, the whole style of it and everything is like a Tim Burton.
Yeah, it's like a Nightmare Before Christmas for sure.
Yeah, it's got like the whole Tim Burton, Addams Family vibe going, and it just this and it looks like such a good fit for VR. And just this looks like it could be potentially really, really good.
Resident Evil 4 got Game of the Year.
Spoiler.
Whoa.
I know.
Sorry if anyone's not seen the awards.
Way to build up, Brian.
Yeah,
build it up.
I'm trying to ramp it down. Like it's how long do you want this show to last, AJ? Trying to.
Kebab Band closes in 27 minutes. By the way,
you can go. We'll still be here. You can just go.
No, I can't. I am going to run for it though after this show.
I'm so hungry now. Do you guys think there's any recency bias involved in this, or do you legitimately think that RE4 is just by far the best game we got this year?
Can we see the results?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We need to really talk because look, this is the game of the year. This is a testament to like how good of releases we actually did get this year. It was Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Village, 2 Capcom Resident Evil games just dominating here. And my guess is that it probably would have been either one that would have won. But then right next to it, you've got Gran Turismo 7, which is, by the way, one of the greatest VR games I've ever experienced in my life. One of the most immersive experiences in my life. Look at that. So Resident Evil 4 had the most votes. Gran Turismo was right behind it. Then Resident Evil Village.
Right behind that.
Yeah, right behind that. So,
and the Resident Evil vote will be split because there'll be people that would have voted Village and then RE4.
Right. So it does make me think.
That's a sexy looking sandwich right there, where Resident Evil is the bread and Gran Turismo is the meat.
I guess Red Matter 2 is the onion and tomato.
I was gonna say No Man's Sky is the mustard, obviously, and then Red Matter 2 is the tomatoes and lettuce.
Yeah,
well, I think the fact that Red Matter 2 and Saints and Sinners 2, the fact that they weren't more prominently represented here, I think just goes to show that recency bias is a real thing. It's human nature, man. The thing that we're playing right now, the thing that's most fresh in our mind,
it's fresh,
is going to seem like the best thing ever. And when you're talking about a game like this, that really is breaking ground that we haven't seen before, having come out literally weeks away from when we're voting here, it's impossible for it to not to have had some effect. The question is where would it have landed if it had come out 6 months ago versus a few weeks? And we'll never know. But I don't think there's any question here that it is a deserving winner because it's an incredible game.
Right.
It's a good way of putting it, because it's like if RE4 came out at launch and Gran Turismo came out in the last 2 weeks, you might see a switch. I do think it is that neck and neck.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo, I couldn't stop thinking about going back into it when that first came out. Like, it's a technical masterpiece. I still think it stands, and I'm not into driving games particularly. But at the moment, all I can think about is playing RE4. It was the game I kept playing over Christmas. Sorry for those that wanted to see me stream it, but I just couldn't help myself. I'm just loving it. But I do think it's interesting that when you look at the split between Resident Evil 4 and Village, like, that's a lot of votes between them. And there'll be people that if they weren't voting for that one, they would have voted for the other one. So, I think Resident Evil getting Game of the Year, like Capcom and their partnership with Sony has been phenomenal. And the fact that Gran Turismo 2nd isn't anything to like stick your nose up at. Like, this is for Game of the Year. And you look at what the Game of the Year nominations were for the flat screen games. When Tears of the Kingdom came out for Zelda, it was seen as a done deal of like, this can't possibly be beaten. And then you've got Spider-Man 2 and you've got Baldur's Gate 3. And it's kind of gutting because any of those games would have easily won on any other year. And for a launch year for PSVR2, we've just been very, very lucky. And so, I think it's good to see.
Yeah, I think Gran Turismo somehow got a little bit shafted this year. Not saying it should have gotten Game of the Year, nothing like that. But what we're seeing it won one category, Best Sports Game, and it's practically a perfect VR game, and they just keep adding to it. And it feels like it should have been nominated for more categories. It should have won more categories. This should have been plastered all over the awards, but yet it wasn't.
I think it suffers from a bit of bias against simulations in these sorts of things. Like, simulations aren't as fantastic as most games are. So I think a lot of people, when they think about stuff like Gran Turismo, they don't really fully view it as a game. And in one way it's unfair, but in another way it's good.
And I mean, that's technically kind of almost true. It is, and that's the thing for me, is like, I think that's the big separator between these three. I mean, you've got it's tough because either one of these three, I mean, even No Man's Sky could have been in the conversation for me personally here. But between the Resident Evils, I mean, it's kind of a trade-off where you've got Village, which is obviously first person, translates to VR a little bit better. It keeps you more immersed constantly, staying in first person during cutscenes. But then you've got 4, which has, slightly better graphics, better replay value, a more action-packed adventure, trophies, and like all this like additional content. It's more fun to replay, and so it's a tough one to trade off there. And then, like I said, with Gran Turismo, yes, its biggest, and maybe the toughest thing about it for some people is that it's limited to just racing. So if you never can get into racing at all, that's the thing. But for me personally, I think you have to kind of go for accessibility here is kind of maybe the big separator. What I love about, Gran Turismo, like I said, Gran Turismo, if you include the wheel, is probably to me one of the greatest experiences of all time. Yep. Even 10 months later, still blows my mind. The depth, the content, the customization, the different modes, there's so much stuff there, and it's receiving additional updates. I mean, the snow updates were some of my favorite content in the game so far. But I think from a hardware standpoint, what I love about the Resident Evil series is that everything that comes in the box when you buy a PSVR2, you get the full experience with just the base PSVR2 hardware, the headset and the controllers. And that's kind of like what our dream is, or at least my dream is more games like that, where these flat screen non-VR games are converted to VR, and they feel built from the ground up with these, with using the orbs, and you can actually interact and reach out and touch, and the environments and the gunplay, you manually reload, and you feel the world around you and stuff like that. And to me, that's kind of the separating, like by like a hairpin, like a pin, literally like a pin drop separating the two is like, I don't know. You just got to think of like any logical way, or just maybe personal preference or whatever. I tried to find like any logical reasoning to justify why each one would be like, the right choice, Yeah.
It certainly wasn't easy. Again, just an amazing year for games. Gran Turismo, 2 Resident Evil games. I mean, even looking at the other 2 options, I mean, I think I see why No Man's Sky and Red Matter 2, kind of fell to the bottom of the list, because again, I think No Man's Sky is in the exact same boat as Gran Turismo is. It's like more of a niche audience, right? People looking for a very specific thing. Doesn't hit all gamers the same way. So it's just, I'm just really, really happy that we had all of these options, because so frequently in the past, it was just like, well, there's a clear winner every year. There's just one game that stands above and beyond every year. When we do our top 25 list previously, it was always like, it's going to be Resident Evil 7 or Saints and Sinners, right? We're no longer in that situation, and we're 10 months in. It's amazing.
Yeah, even like the B tier games,
Sirens.
Our B tier games this year would be a great, list of nominees for Game of the Year in a typical year. Games, like the Light Brigade, games like Propagation and Crossfire, Demio and Switchback and Synapse. I mean, such an amazing year for VR. I think you're right, Brian. I think it's probably the best year we've ever seen, but it was so compartmentalized into just a few areas of the year. There were long periods there where people were disgruntled. And I've talked about it a few times on the show. It's weird. We've never had so much great games, and we've never had so much discontent at the very same time. It's been an interesting year, and I'm interested to see how the narrative is going to shift one way or the other as we move into the next year.
Guys, and the very last thing that we showed off after the Game of the Year award was given out to Resident Evil 4 was from Dark Curry. These guys have been toiling away very, very quietly for years now. They were bringing Undead Citadel.
We're going on like 6 or 7.
Yeah, they were bringing Undead Citadel to PSVR 1, and then like that just there was even a video just like this right? That showed them using the Move controllers to play Undead Citadel. And then here we are. That's obviously not a thing anymore. And now they're using the Sense controllers to play Undead Citadel.
He's got a PC under that table.
Right. It's all smoke and mirrors.
There's a guy with a Quest or something like next to him playing, and he's just moving his arms in front of the TV. No, you can see like the tracking.
But this is such a good reminder, though. This is such a good reminder that there's all these games that got announced and they just kind of like fell off everyone's radar because, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember the news story, but it was one of the dev team over on Undead Citadel's Discord very clearly saying that they really wanted to have this ready for the PSVR2 launch. And when that didn't happen, like they kind of had to switch priorities. And so, you know, there's a lot of games that are in development for PSVR2 that either you haven't heard of, we haven't heard of, or that we've heard of, and then we just completely forgot about them. And Undead Citadel, I think, is kind of becoming one of those games. And so that's why I was glad that they wanted to partake in this and show people very much it's still coming to your platform. So be excited.
Yeah, I'll be excited when it releases, and I'll check it out. I've stopped getting excited about this game, although it looks good.
Well, we've also got the benefit here of it coming out on Steam already and having the complaints be dealt with already, right? Because
that does usually help a lot.
It came out and like a lot of people were like, well, this isn't exactly what we're hoping for. A lot of suggestions. And it sounded like they were very, Wes, correct me if I'm wrong. It sounded like they were listening to suggestions and making changes based on what people really wanted and were looking for.
They certainly did in the first couple of months tweak it a bit. Now they didn't like overhaul the game, and nor did they need to really. I mean, it's a pretty polished and fun experience for what it is already. But yeah, I agree with AJ here. It's like it's good to know that it's coming, but man, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I would have bet you money that this was coming to PSVR2 or PSVR1 first before it hit PC, and here we are. We're still waiting on it. But you know, it could be worse. It could be Zero Caliber or Dash World or any of these other games that just fell off forever. I do believe that this game is still coming, and for what it's worth, the kind of game that this is kind of an evergreen, right? It's an arcade style action game. It isn't something that we have to kind of worry about the medium leaving the genre behind. These types of hack and slash arcade games are going to be fun forever. So yeah, I'll look forward to seeing what these devs are able to do now with the PSVR2 hardware to kind of set it apart from the version on Steam.
And especially now too, right? Like, I mean, we've seen that Incuvo kind of figured out the hardware. We saw that Supermassive Games kind of figured out the hardware. We're seeing these developers like launch games in a state that like we weren't maybe thrilled with, and now they're kind of like, oh, we've got it now. We've got it now. And so if that's the reason for a few extra months waiting, I'd much rather get this game in a finished state that looks impressive in the headset. Because you and I both played this, Wes. Played it on the Steam demo, whatever. You and I did a whole episode about PC VR games coming to PSVR2, and we both played this on when it was available during the Steam demo days or whatever it was fucking called.
And for what it's worth, it's not just looks. I mean, it's a beautiful game already, but I feel like this is a game that the immersion level is going to benefit greatly, potentially from the haptics that PSVR2 is capable of in the controllers, in the headset. This is a very tactile game that has you kind of clashing with the enemies quite a bit. So I feel like there's a lot of potential here for the PSVR2 version to be notably better than the Steam version.
As long as they take advantage of it.
Right, exactly.
All right, guys, let's tackle some more tips, and then we will get the show on the road and let Myles go get his kebabs.
I've missed it, but I'm going to cook some good food. It'll be all right. I've got some gnocchi. Do you like gnocchi?
Yeah, it's all right. Potato gnocchi.
Gnocchi with a bit of cheese, and then I got to find something else. I got some potato fries.
Is it like frozen or homemade, or what are you doing over there?
No, it's in a packet, but it's in the cupboard, so you cook it in 5 minutes, so it's good.
We owe Myles a kebab.
We sure do. Let's see. We got X8 the Joker 8X with the 35 euros. Thank you so much. She says it was a perfect award show. Thanks for your reviews, Gamescast, and
kiss.
show. So that's our chef's kiss of the night.
Yeah, that's the chef's kiss.
Very nice. I need an animation for that, man. I just need to put it up over lots of hearts.
We need an emoji. We need an emoji. Chef's kiss.
Dracula AD 1972, the vegan vampire Gamecat with the 10 quid. That's a fucking new one. Says thanks to everyone for the great content in 2023. Special shout out to Myles for the Trip developer interview. It convinced me to buy Trip, and I love it. Happy New Year to all Gamecats. Sincerely, the Trip developers.
Wow, amazing! And that's a little bit of trivia.
I was like, wait, okay. I'm glad you added the just kidding.
Just kidding,
like,
JK.
Did anyone else hear that?
little bit of trivia. Linnea, who I interviewed, who is the CEO of Trip. I don't know if I mentioned this on a previous show. I was like, she seems familiar. Her last name is Reeves, and I discovered her cousin is Keanu Reeves.
No way.
Yeah. She used to do acting and stuff. She has an amazing backstory of why she got into the space. But yeah, I did an interview with her. Very heartfelt story of her love for gaming and technology, and she had some tragic things within her family, and so she feels very compelled to make gaming an experience that can benefit people. And Trip, I've actually had a really good time with it. I haven't gone back to it yet, just because I've been playing so many different games, but it's a really interesting platform, and they've got some really interesting improvements and use of AI that eventually you'll be wearing the PSVR2 headset. It will talk to you and say, like, what have you been up to and how you're feeling? You say it, and then it will give you a guided meditation based on your situation, which pretty revolutionary. And I just love that we live at a time where PSVR2 is for gaming, but it's also for these other experiences, whether it's for Trip or Human Anatomy VR. I wish I had that when I was studying biopsychology at university and stuff like that. But,
But it would have been very helpful.
It would have been. Because instead I was given a piece of paper with an annotated, and it was boring as fuck, man. Whereas on this, I can pull stuff together and look at it. And it's an amazing time we live in. But yeah. Anyway.
Looper the Underground Gamecat with the €2 says Genotype is the best VR Metroidvania ever made. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down. Genotype after y'all talked about it. I totally missed that during the show for some reason, but I'm gonna have to check that out after.
It has the vibe when you're playing it of like an old school PlayStation game, like a PSVR 1. Or not PSVR 1, like a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 sci-fi.
Well, that's my jam right there.
You have my attention, sir.
Yeah, you're talking to the right people.
Right, there's only one thing I'd rather play than VR, and that's PlayStation 1
PS1.
Yep. Following up on that, Looper with another €5 says Genotype is also the closest you get to Dead Space VR, even though it's on an Arctic station, not in space. Man,
like the
so
thing.
It's like Lost Planet.
I feel like I feel like we're overselling this. There's no way it's going to live up to this.
I know. I need to know. Yeah, I need to bring
Kurt Russell on it.
Bring it back.
Allow me to bring it back a little bit. It is going to be a quest port. So
yeah,
calm down. But it's great. It's a great game.
Okay. Awesome. Tatum in the chat says I'd argue about Genotype, but we'll save it for later. Okay, I'm back down to reality now. Everything's
okay.
Fine. EE Transmit with the 249 says, thanks guys for the community. Feels like home. Guys, just a good reminder, like, the community, yes, these conversations that happen here on YouTube are great, and we love having you here in the live chat, but this is just what happens all the time on Discord. So click the link in the description below. Come join us on Discord. Come hang out. It's also been nice hearing other people's voice in voice chat. Sometimes I just hang out in the public voice chat, Patreon voice chat, and random people will stop in now, and it's just nice hearing, especially when it's people like, dude, I talked to Snafu the other night, and I was like, is this the first time I've heard your voice? I've been saying your name for like 3 years. Salvador with the $2 tip says, award show, Chef's Kiss Brian.
Oh,
there it is. Thank you, Salvador.
A chef's kiss.
Fifth with the Australian $2 tip. It just moved around here. Wow, this dude, I gotta read these faster. There's a lot of tips. Fifth with the Australian $2 says, as a 2024 meetup, will you have karaoke for AJ? If we do, will that convince you to show up?
Black hole pool, won't you come?
Wow.
You got your answer. We're not having AJ do karaoke at the award show.
I'm definitely doing that song. You better believe it.
So not excited.
Just buy me a couple drinks first, and I'll do it.
Can I buy you a couple sober pills? Like, what's the opposite of drinks?
Brian's like, I'm gonna buy you a couple roofies.
Whoa.
I mean, to knock me out.
I mean, if you're into that.
No. But
wink, wink.
It would prevent me from
not happening.
Singing.
Now we're talking. Okay. You know what? This is going down the wrong path. No matter how we could take this. Pietrek F with the 12 plantain says, "Where was Polish Paul at the awards?" You know, for all the people that I didn't ask and all the people that I forgot to ask. That one was intentional. We got Myles. Wait, you're Myles Dyer. Myles Dyer with the level 2 membership. It must be an imposter. Level 2 membership. Trash AF. Get good. Sold my headset and bought Oculus because it's best with no cable to catch your neck. You got to stop.
That's a really interesting point. I'm not sure about that.
Okay,
I disagree.
Yeah,
terrible human being.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible human being.
Dude, people are still using that as an excuse. They're like, "Oh, Quest 3 was all over PSVR2 because
the only time I have noticed the cable on PSVR2 was when I was playing Kill It with Fire.
Yeah,
and I kept going, spiders on my neck. Like that was it. That was it.
And just to be clear, no console wars. Sorry, Wes. No console wars. I'm not trying to say PSVR2 is better. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't care about the cable, but I mean, just at this point, it's so irrelevant. It's so irrelevant.
I think it's spelled Cabo.
Half of my like introductory monologue on the award show was about stop the fucking console war shit. Stop engaging with the trolls. Like,
I forgot about that.
Right, all the stuff on Twitter that people tag me in the worst possible shit on Twitter, saying, "Look at what this person just said. Look at what the IGN dude or kind of funny dude. Look at what these people said about." And I was like, "Yeah, what do you expect them to say? They don't know shit, and they're saying weird shit. Shocker." You know,
dude.
So let's not engage, man. We all need to be together in this and like promote VR, man. Like, doesn't matter which headset.
Agreed.
Sorry, you guys both.
A rising tide lifts all ships, boats, or VR headsets. A rising tide lifts all headsets.
Look,
because I think the buoyancy of a Quest and a PSVR2 headset is the same. I think that's how it goes, right?
I love my Quest 3. I legitimately do. It has some amazing experiences on it. But with regard to the cable specifically, not only do I not notice the cable on my PSVR2, I do notice the lack of cable on my Quest 3 often when the battery.
I was going to say the battery.
all the fucking time. So yeah,
it's a trade-off, man. It's always a trade-off.
Right.
I thought we weren't friend shade here. It's fine if you don't want battery.
I didn't say that. I'm going to throw shade all I want.
Magnum
totally cool if you don't
Gaming
want
with the $2 tip says Hatchling says hi. Everybody together? Hi, Hatchling.
Hi.
Thank you. Well done, everybody. Silver Nexus with the level 3 membership says I done about Myles VR Visor and there ain't no games. I done about Myles VR Visor.
Yep.
I don't understand any of that.
Dude, I loved when I post about Krispain Hero VR and people went, see, they're just Sony's just posting loads of trash. It's like, mate, that's like one game.
Yeah.
I like that people go, see, they put in trash. It's like, no, we're talking about like these outliers.
Yep.
There's so much good shit.
It's sad, man. It's sad. It's like,
can I just actually give a shout out to a game? I think it got nominated for one. Did Knock get nominated in the sports section or not?
No,
it didn't.
It didn't get nominated in the sports section. Oh man,
I don't know. Anyway, I went into Knock earlier today.
That might be my fault.
It's all right.
Sounds like an thing. Yeah.
But they have added a really cool social space when you're waiting for your game to load. It's like a massive, like, they've got like a golf section where you hit golf balls onto a driving range and like there's walls to climb, and they've got a volleyball mode. Man, Knock, I've always loved, but I haven't played it for a long time. I'm now going to start playing it again. Like, dude, it's so much fun.
Knock did get nominated. It only got 17 votes because Gran Turismo just smashed it.
That was it.
I voted for VR Skater.
I wouldn't have voted for Knock, to be fair. I didn't vote for Knock, but just saying. Knock's, they're adding stuff. It's good.
Knocks.
He's there.
Emily Baxter, hashtag Cartoony Witch Game Kit with the $2 tip says, all seriousness, you guys rock. Great award show.
Cheers.
Right? I guess hopefully that means the booze is kicking in. Macho, the real estate procrastinating Gamecat with the level 2 membership. Also with the $2 tip says, we got a great show and all 4 on screen. What a great Christmas gift. I got that. I got it first try. That was pretty good.
Good, man. That's good.
Living Legend with the Canadian $5 tip says, Brian, what lens add-on do you use for your headset? I'm using VR Rock. No prescription, just to protect the built-in lenses from scratches. Just wanted a magnetic. VR Rock is fine, I think, if you don't care about the prescription. It's fine. I think Real Optics is just so much higher quality for a slightly higher price. The only ones I guess I would stay away from are the Hans VR lenses, because after a time they do just stop being stretchy and just fall into your face.
Which is unfortunate, because I'm pretty sure that's the one that most people bought.
Yeah, I really like them. I really liked Hans VR. They're just not built for long-term gaming.
Yeah. I don't like that they poke into your eyes either.
But yeah, Real Optics for me, those are the ones I put on and have not taken off except to clean them. Macho with another $2 tip says, Sin Apes developer need to make our VR Spider-Man game. Yeah, they're the ones. I would say Windlands developers.
And Dreams just got bought. No, God, no. Keep the Windlands people away from Spider-Man game.
Oh, they just got acquired, right?
Yeah. So their future. I mean, they're still going to be doing kind of the same thing, but I don't think they're going to be doing any more Sony exclusives anytime soon.
I don't know. Son WTF with the $20 tip. Thank you. Says, Happy New Year, guys. Great award show. Here's a little something to make up for Brian's diarrhea apocalypse. Nice.
Oh,
nice.
That doesn't sound good.
It sounds terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah. And I wish I was having a diarrhea apocalypse, because the alternative is not fun. Good call. Marcello Malheros with the 2 rupees says, where is best dating sim award, Myles? I think we all know what one that goes to.
Oh man, Koi, man. I'm still like traumatized from that.
For sure. Guys, that's it, man. That's it. Do we feel like any games get completely snubbed? Do we feel like it was a pretty decent award show overall? Did we have a good time? Are we ready to do it all again in 365 days? What are we feeling?
Honestly, great. Man, I got so many notes for next year's.
Oh, good.
I don't. I have no notes.
Well, same.
It was fucking amazing. Well done, Brian.
Shout out again to the Light Brigade for being awesome. Gazzlers, Hubris.
Yes. Vampire Masquerade, Justice, Runner, Demio.
Yeah. Seriously. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like Demio got robbed.
Cosmonius High teaches you about friendship, which is really important. Really happy about that. But can we also just say, it's not even been a year of PSVR2 yet.
Right.
It's been 10 months. And like when we look at what's coming out in February and January, like
by the year mark, we're gonna have at least probably another 3-4 top 25 games.
Right.
New ones.
Time for another 7.5 hour debate.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a chat about that. We got to update our current list over the next month or two. And
we might have to let that last debate just slide into the next one.
I feel like the 4 of us can go in and like maybe do it live, maybe do it behind the scenes, whatever makes the most sense. And take the list that we came up with over 7.5 hours with, and then say, listen, here are the 10 games that might be contenders. Like, what do we do with these? Where is everybody comfortable with? And we go from there.
Bullet Storm, number 1.
Wow, bold. Phasmophobia. I can't wait to play it with you guys. The 4 of us, we're going to play it, right?
Oh, yeah.
We could do a live stream.
You guys are impossible to play games with, though. Like,
I'm down,
Why is
man.
that?
we don't have good timing. All four of us are pretty busy, and so getting everybody in the same lobby at the same time can be tough. That being said, I need to play with Myles.
I mean, maybe
maybe
the second it launches, but I can definitely play other than that.
Now's not the time, AJ.
no, now's not the time to plan for that.
But no, I mean, absolutely. I would love to. I mean, that's a game that I'd love to stream with you guys and just be like, the Without Parole crew goes out and investigates a haunted house. Let's do this shit.
If I get more than a week's notice, I can schedule PTO, but I have to have more than a week's notice or a stealth drop.
Hey, Brian. Before
Myles.
we end the show, I've got a clip of my dad screaming, playing Affected. If I send you it, do you want to play it on the show? You don't have to.
Maybe I can try.
Let's see. But there's a really bad thing about it. It's vertical video. Oh shit!
TikTok.
I'm sending you the clip now.
Look at the TikTok, boy.
I was actually really proud of my dad. Really proud of my dad for doing it. He was. I'm just sending you it now on Discord. Let's see.
Oh, on Discord.
It's almost done. It's almost done. It's almost done.
Yeah, it makes
3,
it a little bit harder.
2. Oh, does it? Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's sent now. It says.
Okay.
I just thought let's end on something happy, and I don't know if my dad would like us all to see him in his PJs, but he's not here to answer, so I think we'll just show it.
I think that's our answer then. All right, guys, thank you everybody so much. I've missed everybody so much over the last 2 weeks, and I'm so happy that today turned out the way that it did. It was great to see all of you guys turn out for not just the show but the after show. And if we don't see you tomorrow, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve. Happy New Year, and please
Happy New Year!
Just be safe, right? Can be a time for craziness, so make sure if you go out, be safe. I'll be staying home if anybody wants to snuggle.
Drink responsibly.
Shocker.
Yes, do drugs responsibly.
Do drugs responsibly.
That's right. Thank you everybody supporting the channel, financially, emotionally, everything. You know how it is, and of course, those who don't say a goddamn word. I truncated it. We'll get back to the regular speech next week. Let's get out of here. And
Happy New Year, everyone. Much love to you all. Thanks for the support.
all right, Myles, I'm gonna try to get this clip of the week up here. Is there any introduction? Is it pretty self-explanatory?
No, it's just my dad's. I was like, dude, he played RE7, and he says it's one of the most terrifying things he'd ever played. And I was like, I'll do this. It's like a haunted house. And he did an entire playthrough of Affected, but this is just a couple of the moment. Oh, one moment.
I don't know where it is. Let's see what happens when I hit the button. I don't know where it's gonna go. Oh my god, it's so crazy vertical. Oh, Myles, what are you doing?
I blame my dad.
I might have to replay this because I can't even.
Sorry. I just saw it pop up.
It's massive, dude. It's like big. It's
no.
I can't see anything. Yeah, it won't let me. It won't let me edit it. We'll give We'll give this another chance when I can format it for the screen.
Ryan's had enough producing to do for 24 hours.
Just remind me on Friday before we go live, and I'll
join our Discord. I'll post it in general.
Even better. There
we go.
All right, guys. Thanks again for everybody. Happy New Year. Make sure you subscribe to everybody. Click the links in the description below. Come join us on Discord. We love you so much.